We talk a lot about risk on this show. Usually, we mean financial risk or career risk. But today, we're talking about the ultimate risk, mortality. My guest today has a resume that shouldn't be possible. He is a 4-time brain tumor survivor. He has endured 3 craniotomies, having his skull open to remove the mass, and has withstood 57 rounds of radiation. But this isn't a medical podcast. It's a mindset podcast. Because after losing his father to a heart attack at just 54 years old, Adrian didn't retreat into safety. He went on the offensive. He decided to dedicate his extra time on earth to ensure other families don't suffer that same loss. He is the owner of Ultimet Fitness in Southside Pittsburgh, an official High Rocks training club. He is a man building a business while fighting a war for his own longevity. Adrian Van Balen, welcome to the Relentless Project.
You are now tuning in to the Relentless Project. Real people, real stories, real life.
Thank you, Ish. Thank you. Glad to be here.
How does that feel? I always open with this because I hate when people tell me like a description. Oh, he does this, he does this, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, I don't hate. I feel awkward, right? How does it feel to hear that about yourself?
I mean, I often forget that it's been 4 brain tumors. I feel like, if I'm not where I'm at in life, where I want to be, physically, mentally, financially, I come down on myself pretty hard about that. And then it's like every once in a while, like I had one of my best friend was like, you've survived 4 brain tumors. Like you're not supposed to be here. This is wild. And you're saying that like you need to be first. He was like, it's a blessing that you're here. You need to, focus on that and not worry about, what your next move is and, where you're going with the business. And he was like, you got to be blessed every single day that you're alive. And a lot of times I don't, I never use that as a crutch. I've never said to anybody, it's because I've had 4 brain tumors. It's like, it doesn't really enter my mind, but then you hear it and it's like, oh shit, I did go through all that.
Yeah. It's very like, depending on how you approach it, right? Like we talk a lot about mindset. We talk a lot about perspective, right? You've gone through 4 major surgeries,
mm-hmm.
four surgeries that at any moment things can change. And how do we look at that? Do we see that and go, man, like I endured that. Why can't I do the next thing? Why can't I build this gym? Why can't I make these connections? Why can't I run a marathon? Like why not? Or I can't because the same situation you can use as fuel or you can use as something that holds you back, as baggage, as luggage. Like, and your friend says like, don't worry about the next thing. Man, in my mind, just hearing a little bit about your story and doing the research I did, I'd be like, I would try to take over the fucking world
mm-hmm.
because I can.
Yeah.
Because I get to.
Here's the thing. I had a cousin of mine give me a book probably 25 years ago. It's the name of the book is Illusions, The Adventures of a Reluctant Messiah. It's like 150 pages long. Okay. It's about this guy who he finds another pilot and he's teaching him how to become the Messiah, and one of the greatest lines that I took from that book was the Messiah, says to this man, he said, argue for your limitations and you get to keep them. And, the way I took that was you have people tell you all the time, like, I can't do this because of this. I can't do this, I can't come to the gym. I don't have enough time. I can't, I don't have enough money. You are arguing for your limitations. And that's why those people get to keep them. So it was never, I can't do this because, I just had brain surgery. I can't do this because I have too much medical debt. I can't do this because, X, Y, Z. And it's the people that argue, for their own limitations that end up getting stuck in life. And it's people that kind of ignore, whatever's going on and just keep pushing day after day after day.
Or not even ignore it, but respect it. Like, I understand what's going, but I'm still going to push forward. It's the same people who say how, right? Like when you want to, someone comes up to you, you should start a gym. There's one of two ways you can respond to that. That's a great idea. Let's figure this out. Or how? Yeah. How is every person who never started favorite word? Because you're immediately, in my mind, you're looking for an excuse. And I use it myself as an example. When I wanted to start the podcast, that was my first, how? I don't have the money. I don't have the equipment. I can't speak well. I'm not very articulate, right? English is my second language. I fumble on words. I stutter. I do too much. How? That was the thing that had me not even start. And finally, someone's like, and then another thing, I don't like cameras, social media, all that stuff. Yeah. The irony. And someone's like, you do this, and you're scared to talk in front of a camera. And when he said that, I felt kind of silly. I'm like, it sounds pretty dumb. Yeah, you're right. But it's something I've always wanted to do. I love talking to people. I love learning people's stories. I love sharing people's stories, right? I'm the guy in the rooms always like, oh, man, you got to talk to this dude. You got to connect with this guy. He's got a hell of a story. He's doing that. I love, because that is what I needed growing up. I got into the rooms. I got into just networking, just talking with people. Yeah. I'm not special. I don't have any special skill set. I just truly love people and love talking to people and connecting people.
It's a skill.
Well, apparently. It
is.
I'm in front of you, right? Let me give Eddie his
plug.
His plug. Thank you, Eddie. Specifically, Cowboy Eddie. He was just recently on. I'm going to make it very obvious that he's asked me to do this. Wink, wink. Now, all jokes aside, he's the one who's like, and Eddie, feel how you feel about the dude. He's very people-oriented too. Yeah. Almost too people-oriented sometimes.
Some people love him, some people hate him.
Yeah, there's no in between either. Yeah. He's like, you got to talk to this guy. And hearing your story, I'm like, man, we're going to have a lot of things that resonate. Obviously, I haven't gone an inch into the journey you've gone, but a lot of people listening could hear your story and go, and I'm hoping, and go, wow, what's my excuse?
Yeah. That's, the goal is aspiring to inspire. And
the man's got quotes too.
Yeah, that's been my thing, since this whole journey started. And it's about, you get to a point in your life where you realize, like, you're the one that should be doing the teaching. Like, I've had enough life experiences that, all of a sudden it's like you should be, out there telling people, leading people. And you get to an age, you get to, life experiences where all this has happened to you. And now people are starting to turn to you, and it's like, you're always thinking like, my dad was, such a stoic man that, I always turn to him for questions. And then it's like, when you don't have that, and then you look in the mirror and you realize, like, oh shit, it's me now. It's
the torch has been passed.
Yeah. So I had, this is a great story about, business and, how do I do it? What do I do? And I had this girl approach the gym, and she was like, I want to run like a post-grad women's, strength, show them, it's okay to lift weights and pick up dumbbells and pick up barbells. And, would you be interested in, helping me along with this? And it's called Pink and Powerful. And
that's dope.
Yeah. So she was like, I want to, teach these women, all about fitness and, postgraduate and what they do. And she had just moved from New York City. She was working in finance and came back and got a new job in Pittsburgh. 2 weeks in, she's like, hey, I quit my job. I'm going to do this full time. You know, and I'm like, I applaud that. You know, that's amazing. You know, you're going for it. And I was like, the thing that you have to understand is that nobody knows what the fuck they're doing.
Nope.
Nobody. Not you, not me. Everybody. I was like, you just have to realize that you got to throw shit against the wall and see what sticks. And it's going to take you years. And you're going to find stuff that works along the way. But, you know, to kind of come back to that, how do I do this? It's trial and error for everybody everywhere. I don't care if you're a CEO. I don't care, you know what you got going on.
I'm glad you said it's so crazy because I'm working on a small book, an ebook, and all these themes are resonating, and and then we're talking about it, and it's like, man, this is right, this is cool. And I talk about that. It's when not like being not good enough. That's it. Not good enough. When do I start? I'm not good enough. But the whole point is, it's not when to start, but it's just starting and learning.
Yeah.
Trial and error, figuring it out. You know, growing up, I got offered a position at the Bayhawks, which was the Erie Bayhawks, which is a NBA D-League team.
Yeah.
I didn't know the first fucking thing about running a professional sports team, the operations, the entertainment. Not only that, the arena got this new like Daktronics scoreboard. I had to learn how to program all that. I could have been like, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
But the person that I am, I know I will figure it out. And I approached it with like, I'll figure it out. We're going to figure it out together.
Yeah.
And I did, you know, and then in that I got a construction gig. I didn't know the first thing about highway construction. Paid good.
Yeah.
Summers only. Figured it out. So that's something I've always leaned into because I never say no to an opportunity. Either I'm going to learn and figure out, this wasn't for me, but I learned things along the way that I can apply to other things, or I'm going to make it work. And something like what you've went through, you don't have a choice but to go through it. You don't have a choice, right? Your card was punched. God said, hey, these years are going to be your years of trials and tribulations, which I never subscribed for, but he gives it to me too. But, and you don't get to be like, well, I don't know how to deal with that. Let's put a pause. You had to figure it out. And look where you're at today. If we approach that mindset with our businesses, our relationships, our network, our careers, just imagine how many people would find greatness. So one thing I'd love to get into, before we started, I was doing this last season and I've gotten away from it, but if there's any guy who deserves this, it's you. This is the official Relentless Project Challenge coin.
My man.
Hang that at the gym.
I will. I appreciate it.
No, of course. I appreciate the hat. I don't have enough hats, but I always wear hats, so now I can start switching them. Walk us through the man before the scars. Walk us through before. So what were you doing? How was life? What were your goals? What were your aspirations?
Yeah, so I started off, oddly enough, as a neuroscience major in college.
No shit.
And, you know, which was crazy going into the once I got the brain tumors and everything, because I knew exactly what they were talking about. But I kind of kept it low key. Like I didn't want them to know that I knew, everything that they were talking about. So after college, got into bartending, right around like 21. That was like the nightclub scene in Pittsburgh. It was huge back in the day and made a ton of money. It was, as a 21-year-old kid, you're taking home 6 figures in cash. It was crazy.
I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah, I know, right? And it sucked me in. I started, I did it all right though. I did, didn't get into drugs, didn't, save my money, got enough money to buy houses, stuff like that.
Had a 401k at 20.
Yeah. So, that's kind of who I was before was, working the nightlife and, manage bars all over the city, from Shady Side to Lawrenceville to, everywhere you could. I kind of got into the craft cocktail scene and was doing that.
You wore a bow tie, didn't you?
No bow ties.
Take me as a bow tie guy.
Yeah, I can rock one, but it was, that was kind of where it all started. And then I lost my father, and that was in a split second, and that's kind of when my life changed, some for the better, some for the worse. I kind of went down like a real dark hole after he passed away. Anytime you lose, a person like that in your life, it's a black hole you never fill. It'll stay with you for forever, and you get better. It gets easier to handle, but it took a toll on me. And I mean, this man was, everything to my family. And
a pillar.
Yeah.
You take a pillar out of something.
Yeah. And he was 54 and, went to bed, had a dad, woke up, didn't, and he was gone. So
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's all right. But everything that happens is going to happen for you, not to you. And that kind of led me, into the fitness sector, where I was picking up a liquor order for the bar that I was at. And I'm standing behind this guy whose hands are shaking so bad that he can't even get the change out, to buy, whatever little liter bottle of vodka. He's, Bankers Club. And it was like that moment where I was just like, yeah, I'm done with this. Like, I don't want to get people fucked up anymore. Like, I want to help people. I don't want people to have to suffer through, what my family went through. There's got to be a better way, Yeah,
that's interesting because you said that your father was a catalyst of you getting healthy and being very conscious of that, and then you're going to the bars and essentially poisoning people.
Yeah.
That's what alcohol is. I'm not saying he's poisoning people, but and a lot of I partake in adult beverages.
Yeah.
But also I'm very conscious of my health. I'm a hypocrite. It is what it is, right?
Mm.
You never really think about it. You hear about it on social media and stuff, but yeah, you're that's interesting. That's an interesting perspective.
It affected me, and I thought I could do more with my life. I could do more for people, and that was when I kind of found CrossFit. It was like this girl came into a bar I was working at.
It's always a girl.
It's always
girls
a girl.
in CrossFit, man.
Yeah, that's how they get you.
And then they're like, dude, you used to watch the CrossFit? Sorry to interrupt. The CrossFit games?
Yeah. I'm
like, dude, these chicks are bigger than me.
Yeah.
Like, they're bigger than me. And they can run.
Yeah.
So they already got me.
Yeah. She walked in and I was like, hey, I saw you on a website. And she was like, what website did you see me on, I was like, it was this like CrossFit, thing I've been seeing a lot about. And this was back in like 2000. So what would this have been? Maybe 2010, 2011, somewhere around there. So she was like, oh yeah, come down to this gym, try it out. So I went down, I tried it, and it was like a super easy workout. There wasn't anybody good in the class, and I like destroyed everybody. And I was like, oh man, I'm making the games.
I'm good at this.
This is so good. This is great. And then I came back to the second class, and I came at like a more popular time. And I'm like, scoping everybody out. I'm like, oh, all right, I can take that guy. I can take that guy.
It's like what I do in Jiu Jitsu. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not going with that guy.
Well, so I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, I can beat this guy. He's got to be the top guy. Like, I'm going to destroy this guy. So they're like, all right, we're doing 100 burpees and then a mile run. And they're like counting down, like 3, 2. I'm like, what's a burpee? I had never done one. And they're like, oh yeah, you just like drop to the floor, do a push up and, come back up. So I'm like, okay. And then they tell me the mile route. So 3, 2, 1, go. I just start chucking myself to the ground, like bruising my heart,
Mistake
like coming down,
number one.
yeah. So I'm like, I got to be beating this guy. I got to be beating this guy. So all of a sudden, like, he takes off on the run, and I'm at like 65 reps or something. You know, and I'm like, how the hell did they, like, he's got to be cheating. And then all of a sudden, like, another guy goes out, another girl goes out. Everybody, I'm like dead last, you know, and it's me and this like 68-year-old woman. And I'm like, I got to be able to beat her, you know?
And she's just there for fun.
Yeah. So, you know, she ends up going out the door ahead of me. And I'm the last one out the door after 100 burpees. So I take off on the run. I'm like, all right, I'm a good runner. I'm going to catch all these, you know, all these mofos. So I start taking off. Running, we got to do 4 laps. So I'm running, and everybody just keeps getting smaller and smaller. You know?
Am I going backwards?
Yeah. So finally I get around, I'm on my 4th lap, and all of a sudden the 68-year-old, she's already in there, she's already finished. She comes out to run again with me. She's like, oh, I'm going to run the last lap with you. Just make sure you're all right, you know?
Thank you
and
for
I'm
being
like,
a team player.
She was like, I'm an ultra marathon runner. Like, you're doing great, you know? And I was like, all right. So it was that where I got my ass handed to me. That I was like, okay, I'm in. Like, I'm not in shape at all. You know, I thought, you know, I was.
That's wild.
You know, that's what it is. Everybody comes in, you know, to these types of gyms and they think they're in shape. And it's like, you get beat by Sally, who's, you know, 68 years old. And you're like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
You know, what
a
time
joke?
tomorrow? Like, this is, you know, I got to get better at this.
But that says a lot about who you are, though, because some people would see that and go, yeah, fuck this.
Oh, I see it all the time. And they're like, oh, CrossFit's gay. You know, or, you know, something. And it's like, they're like, this is stupid. Like, I don't want to do. And it's like, no, man, you're just not good at it.
See, I hate CrossFit because I'm not good at it.
Yeah, that's what it is. Most people hate that type of workout just because you're not good at it, you know? And it's ego driven, and, you know, people are like, I'm just going to lift heavy. You know, like, that's fine, man. That's your thing. But don't say this sucks.
Yeah. No,
you know?
I'm not mobile. So CrossFit literally hurts.
Yeah.
I'll incorporate some of the movements, but it's a tough workout.
It
man.
is.
It's tough, and it's designed the way it is to be what it is.
Yeah. So that was kind of where I decided, like, this is going to be my vehicle. You know, this is what I can use to help people.
So not to jump ahead, but Ultimet Fitness, it's a CrossFit style gym.
CrossFit style. So we do, you know, class-based HIIT. A lot of it's strength-based. So we work on progressive overload, you know, going percentage.
Do you have to pay to be CrossFit affiliated?
You do.
That's wild to me.
We did it for a while, and then it just got, it's, you know, it was like during the pandemic, the George Floyd thing, the owner said something, and I was just like, I'm not paying, you know, $3,000 to $5,000 a month or, you know, a year to just say I'm CrossFit. And luckily we were, you know, when I opened up, when we branded it, it was never, you know, CrossFit Ultimate. It was, or Ultimate CrossFit. It was just, you know, Met Performance Lab was what we opened up with. So I never, you know, I could drop the name and nobody would ever know, you know, so it wasn't our identity, you know, the name CrossFit.
So, okay. Yeah, because then you have to drop the name and change everything.
Yeah.
And then that's legal paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you love businesses?
That's great.
Big businesses.
Yeah.
So you make the decision to start working out, start training.
Mm-hmm.
This is like your vehicle now to improving yourself overall. It's going good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're getting
It's
healthy.
going great.
You're moving. You're running.
Yeah.
You're beating Sally.
Right.
Hopefully.
Finally.
I'm going to say, hopefully you got there.
Finally.
So then you're healthy. You're active. How, like, walk us through the day, I guess, your life changed, right? Like you're going through these progressions. We're seeing, and you know, when you make the decision to go to the gym, and an intentional decision, you're going and hitting it hard, you start to look good. You start to feel good. You start to do good things.
Yeah.
And then anything can derail you, especially in the beginning, right? You don't get enough sleep. I'm going to skip.
Mm-hmm. That's hard as a bartender, you know?
I can imagine. Yeah. You know, you had an issue at work last night.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I ain't going to the gym tomorrow. It's my rest day. And then that starts to slope. So walk us through. You're going to the gym. You're active. You're healthy. Then what?
Now I had been doing CrossFit for probably, I'd started coaching at a gym in the South Side where I currently own the business. I started coaching there.
Started from the bottom.
Yeah. So what I did was I went and got certified as, a CrossFit coach, and went and did all that. And then, started coaching full time, quit bartending, was out, I was loving life. I felt healthy, felt great. Then we had, the idea like, hey, let's open up our own. The place where I was at had gotten bought out by, people I didn't really care for, and kind of wasn't having fun anymore. So me and my, business partner who I had in the beginning, Goose Fisher. Goose.
Talk to me, Goose.
Yeah, talk to me, Goose. Sometimes I forget his real name. I've been calling him Goose for so long.
That's his name.
Yeah.
That is not your name.
That is not your name. So we were like, hey man, let's just go have fun. Like, let's do this. Like, let's just leave. We'll go open our own.
Start of every good business, man.
Yeah. It was just, we wanted it. And like we said, we were just like, we'll figure it out. He was kind of the technical guy. I was the visionary guy. So we started sitting down and figuring out what it was going to cost, what it was going to take, and just went for it. So we ended up opening up on Mount Washington. It was our first spot. It was terrible.
Never mind.
It was terrible. We got sued immediately. So it's up on Mount Washington. It was an old schoolhouse. They had been advertising like this gym they had to have a gym inside the apartment building. So they had been trying to find a tenant for like a straight year, and all the tenants were getting real pissed off that they didn't have a gym. So they were like, oh, it's perfect for CrossFit. So we went and we took a tour. It was an amazing facility. Like, we were like, hell yeah, this is it. We found it. And they're like, well, we'll build out the bathrooms. We'll do everything. We're like, okay. So we signed it. We started painting. We did everything. Was ready to set up. About 2 weeks before we opened, they're like, hey, you guys are really loud. And we're like, yeah, that's CrossFit. Like, you pick heavy shit up, put it down.
It's a gym.
Like, that's what we're doing.
Scream.
Right. And they were like, well, there's people that are complaining about the noise. And we were like, who? They were like, oh, there's people on the other side of this drywall on the same like gym floor you're on. And we were like, you didn't think that would be important to tell us? Like, do you know what CrossFit is? And they were like, well, no, just the guy that, put the, that was trying to lease it was the guy that put up, good for CrossFit. So they're like, you guys can't drop weights. You can't play music. And we were like, no. Like, that's not what it is. So, we sued them. They sued us. Spent about $17,000 in lawyers' fees, before the doors are even open. And that was when I literally learned probably one of my greatest life lessons during that whole, period of going through, the cops coming every day. They were giving people money off their rent to call the cops on us.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it was wild. I mean, it was like we were like, ready to go.
What did the cops say?
Cops were like, this is like their matter. Like,
yeah,
he was like, he was like, the one cop was like, my girl does CrossFit. Like, you're fine. I don't care. Like, we don't care. This is, this isn't us. You're not shooting anybody.
The amount of people who hit the police button.
Yeah.
Sorry to go on. I'm a cop too, right? So I'm gonna go on a little rant. So let's not forget where we're at. Let's put a bookmark in it.
You're in a
we live in a world. Well, I'm not in a safe space. This is online. I get slaughtered online, but it's fine. It's fine because no one has the intention I have for policing. I truly mean that. I can say that I can stand on business. Like, if you truly meet me and talk to me and understand me, nobody wants to improve policing more than I do. I'll fucking die on that hill.
Yeah.
We live in a world where people are defund the police have too much power, they're power tripping, and the same people, and I wish I could name drop. The same people will be pissed off at you that you're not doing something when they call you. Mm-hmm. Right? We got a call for we gotta be very smart about this. We get a call for a protest. It's 4 people. holding up signs. The person who called is also a protester, but now he's or she is being protested against. And I've been called on this individual, and I approach the same way. Hey, you're not trespassing. You're not interfering with traffic. You're being as cordial as you can be for what you're doing. You're fine. Thank you, officer. Finally, someone who respects my rights. Like, yeah, cool, bro. It's not that real. I'm going to go get a coffee. Now they're doing this to him or her. And he's calling like, this is a state statute for harassment. I'm like, listen, brother or sister.
Doesn't sound like a woman.
Can't confirm nor deny. I'm like trying to explain to him or her. I'm like, hey, listen. Like, there's nothing. First Amendment right. They have the right to lawfully assemble. They're lawfully assembled. They're not trespassing. They're not blocking the roadway. They're in the easement. And they're not violating any law. Well, township states that they need a permit. Also in the First Amendment says without prior government authorization. Well, what's the permit for? Or what's the permit for? Yeah. I don't want to give away. I explained to them, well, the township has a permit for organized events, such as if you want to close down the block or the park or have like a formal event that requires, county township resources like that. That is what this permit is for. It's not for you and a couple friends coming together to protest.
Yeah.
Right. I'm trying to explain this. And then it hits me. I'm like, I got called to you. And this is the same exact situation. Like, how can you not see that? You don't do anything. You don't do that. To be said, they want us to have power when they want us to have certain people, not everybody. And then they don't want us to have power when they don't want us to have power. There's like no winning. And this isn't like a boo-hoo me. It's just the police easy button. So fucking annoying, right? Like the last thing we want to do is bother people. As cops, we want to show up when someone's having the worst day.
Yeah.
And we want to be able to help those who can't help themselves. But the amount of people, if I had $1 for every time I went to a house that said defund the police, cops or the Gestapo, the signs in their yard, and I have to go,
I'm here to help.
Hello, ma'am or sir. How can I help you? You called us regarding your neighbor calling you a jerk in the driveway. What would you like? I want him arrested. You see, it doesn't work that way. I can go talk to him for you. I even had a call for someone who their package was delivered to their neighbor's house.
They wouldn't go over.
They was like, well, I don't want any issues. Do you have issues with your neighbor? Well, no. Did you knock on the door? No. Can you do that? No. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Anyway, police button. So they go. They're calling on you.
Calling the cops.
You're trying to run this business that you were basically told, hey, this is perfect for you.
And it was a lot, to be open. I mean, the stress of opening a business is, a
gym at that.
A gym. I don't know if you know about, the health of Pittsburgh people, but Pittsburgh
Virginia Slims and Icy Lights aren't enough.
Some Turner's tea. It's a tough.
We don't touch Turner's tea.
No Turner's.
No, I'm saying we leave that. That's fine.
All right. They're good.
We will leave that. But
so, it's tough to people, to get people in the fitness space in the city of Pittsburgh, and then to have to deal with, throwing money at a lawyer. And going back and forth on what we're going to do. And, we had just spent so much money on the build out. And so I had this client who was he was a lawyer. He was a pretty high powered lawyer. And I asked for his help. And I was like, hey man, I just want to get in your ear about what I should be doing about this. He was like, sure, give me a call. So I gave him a call, and the first thing he says is, do you like Batman? And I'm like, what the does
more
this
of a
have
Superman
to do?
guy, but sure.
Right? And I'm like, it was just off the Christian Bale movies. And I'm like, yeah, man, he's, it's pretty good. I like him. And he was like, do you read the comics? And I was like, no. Like, I don't read the fucking
Trying
comics.
to run a
Like,
business, my
yeah.
guy.
I'm like, what does this have to do? He was like, listen, man. He was like, in every Batman comic, everybody thinks that he's always fighting the same guy, right? He's fighting the Joker. You know, he's every once in a while the Riddler shows up, and you know, he's always fighting the Joker. He was like, I'm here to tell you that in every single issue, I don't know if this is real or not. He was like, in every single issue of the Batman comics, there's always a new villain. He was like, there will always be another villain. Keep fighting. Literally gave me zero advice, legal advice.
Gave you life
But,
advice.
I mean, it is stuck to me to this day, you know, that there will always be another villain. It doesn't matter how high you are, how low you are in life. Like, something is going to come. And literally 2 months later was when I got diagnosed. After we had moved the gym, got set up where we are now. So we ended up, the owners of the gym that we didn't like, they got separated. He took all the money, ran away.
No, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Not with gym businesses.
Right. So I ended up calling the girl that owned it, and I was like, you know, asking her some questions about our W-2s.
Did you call for Batman?
Yeah, pretty much.
Here I am.
So, you know, she says, hey, do you want to buy the gym? I said, no, I own a gym. She was like, do you want the lease? And I was like, yes. So we ended up leaving that gym in the South Side, going all the way up to Mount Washington, opening a gym up there just to come back down and open up in the same exact spot that we were at. Right. So she was like, I can't tell the members this, you know, like, how do we do this? And I was like, we'll sign the lease on Wednesday. You shut it down Thursday. We'll come in Thursday night. We'll clean. I'll have a moving truck come up to the Mount Washington. We're going to load everything up. I'm going to have painters come down, paint the inside of the gym. And then we're going to move everything in, set up Friday, Saturday, Sunday, open Monday.
This was a weekend move.
This was a weekend of an entire gym. I mean, we're talking rigs bolted to the floor.
Cages, I'm sure. You guys love
mats.
You guys love the big.
I mean, have you ever tried to pick up a gym mat? It's like a 100-pound drunk girl at the bar. Like, there's no rigidity
like a
to
stall
them.
mat, right?
Yeah, it's a stall mat.
Yeah.
It's a horse stall mat.
Yeah,
So like, you try and pick these things up. Well, we had to move, 200 of them, back down. Then we got to cut them to the new size of the gym. So we did all this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, open up Monday. Like, it was insane.
How many hands were involved in this move? Because, I mean,
there were a lot of members that helped out. That,
that's dope. That's a community. That's a gym.
Yeah. We don't say the C word. We say the F word. We're not a community. We're a family. So
I'm big family.
Yeah.
I'm big on that because that's perfect example. You're in your gym, you had a lawyer. In your gym, you'll have someone who knows something more than you about specific thing, right? Like, that's the beauty of gym. That's why I love the Jiu Jitsu gym I go to. There's attorneys.
Oh, yeah.
There's real estate agents. There's video gamers. There's kids in high school. There's all walks of life coming together for a single purpose.
And that's why you talk to people.
That's why you talk to people. And then with your gym, you had these people who was like, I'm going to put my time to help you with your dream and your goal, which also helps them because now they have their gym.
Right. Now the gym's back.
It's a win-win.
But, it was, we ended up moving. I think it was in, we decided that we were going to move, we had settled, but during this whole process is when I got diagnosed with my first brain tumor. So
how did that come to be, if you don't mind me asking?
So my aunt saw a picture of me online, and she was like, something's wrong with your eye, and I'm like, what do you mean something's wrong with my eye? She was like, your eye looks funny. You should go get it checked out. It could be a tumor. And I was like, no, I'm fine. Like, I got hit in the eye with a squash ball when I was 21 years old. I was playing squash and was playing without eye protection. And I don't know if squash ball's about this big. It's like rock hard. So it fits right in your eye.
Had to feel nice.
Yeah. So I almost lost my eye, and I thought that that's what it was. So she keeps chirping at me, did you go get your eye checked? Did you go get your eye checked? And I'm like, no, So finally I saw like somebody's like Snapchat or something of me, and my eye did look different. I was like, what is that?
What filter did you use?
Yeah. So I scheduled an appointment with an eye doctor. So my wife at the time was 8 months pregnant with our first kid. And then I go to this eye doctor appointment, and he was, they're looking at it, and he was like, yeah, I think you just did some eyelid damage. Like, we're just going to do an eyelid lift. And I was like, okay, what's that? How long does that take? He was like, 45 minutes. We'll get you in. We're going to schedule you for surgery. He was like, just to be safe, I want you to go and get a scan, And I was like, okay, yeah. So he was like, once I read it, after you get the scan, I'll give you a call if anything's wrong. I was like, okay. So went and got the scan, finished up coaching morning sessions, and it was like 8:01. My phone rang, and I'm like looking at it, and I knew it was the doctor's number. And I was like, fuck. So I'm like, hello. And he was like, hey man, this is Dr. I don't even remember his name. It's so long ago. He's like, hey, there's something back there, man. Like, I don't know what it is. It's too deep for my pay grade. You're going to have to go to the next guy up. So I was like, okay, what is that? He was like, it's a neuro-ophthalmologist. I was like, okay. He was like, you need to go UPMC, or this is who I recommended, AGH, Allegheny General. So I was like, okay. So schedule the appointment at AGH. My wife and I go, she's 8 months pregnant. We're sitting there, and the resident comes in, and he's like, yeah, we took a look at the scan. We just think it's like a bundle of nerves or blood vessels or something. We're just going to keep an eye on it for 6 months, see what happens.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just one eye. So I was like, all right. And then he walks out, and then he comes back in. He's like, hey, the surgeon wants to talk to you real quick. And I'm like, all right, bring him in. Yeah. Come on, So he comes in, he sits down, and, the same compassion, the same, that all surgeons have, just deadpan, like, don't give a fuck, like, you're just a number, grabs a skull, right? And he's like, so we think it's coming from the brain side. And I'm like, what is coming from the brain side? He was like, we think you have a massive brain tumor. We're going to need you to go up to neurosurgery and, have them look at it. And I was like, what? He was like, we think we can go in right above your orbit. We don't think we'll have to take your whole skull, apart.
Oh man,
and
that's great.
And I'm telling you, everything you hear about like a cancer diagnosis, tumor diagnosis, your ears, just everything goes blank. Your heart is just beating through your chest. I'm sitting here, I can't hear anything. Everybody's talking. Your ears are ringing, and I'm just like looking at my wife's, 8-month pregnant belly, thinking like, what in the fuck is going on? And that was when she kind of like snapped me out of it, and she was like, hey, and I'll never, forget this. And she was like, this is what you train for, and it was like at that moment, like, everything came back in, and I was like, okay, I can do this. So we ended up going up a floor to neurosurgery. They pulled it up on the screen, and I mean, it was a tumor the size of my, like fist, like it's
bundle of nerves.
Yeah, they said it was, it had gotten so big that it couldn't push my brain back any further, that it started growing out through my eye. And that's why my eye looked different, because it had wrapped itself around my optic nerve and it was pushing the eye out.
So you weren't having like headaches
Nothing.
Or seizures?
This is what they asked me. They said, how many seizures have you had? I said, none. They were like, 9? I was like, no, none. They're like, we don't know how you're walking right now. Like, you should be having massive, headaches, dizziness, shouldn't be able to see. They're like, we don't understand, but whatever it is you're doing, keep doing it, And they were like, we need to get you into surgery, quick. And I was like, I'm not doing this before my child is born. Like, if this isn't affecting me and it's not doing anything yet, like, I'm going to wait a month until, my kid's born. So they agreed. They were like, we're going to have to put you on anti-seizure meds just to make sure, everything is okay. So I ended up, waiting until my daughter Amity was born. And then I went in for surgery. So went in the day after Father's Day in 2016. Yeah.
This just hits home, man. Like, fuck cancer. I have a lot of experience with friends and family who are currently going through that process you went through a long time ago. So it sucks, for lack of better words.
I mean, here's the thing is, when you get diagnosed with cancers or tumors, it's a life sentence. Like, don't ever think that, like, just because you're in remission, just because, you beat it, like, it's in our heads every single day. You look in the mirror and, like, you can't escape it. Like, you'll get 6 months of parole, when you get a clean scan and you feel good for a little bit, and then 3 months rolls around and they're contacting you for your next scan. And it's like, they call it scanxiety. Like, everything hurts. There's not a, pain in my head that I get, a pain in my eye that I'm not like, oh shit, it's back, and you have to live with that for the rest of your life.
What was going through your mind when you mentioned the doctor just like
nonchalant.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of have to understand that. Being a cop, we have to give bad news a lot.
Yeah.
And like like I said, I love people. So I want to sit there and be like, hey, and be as compassionate as possible. But when we do this all the time, it takes a toll on, and maybe this is just me, but it sucks the life out of me when I have to go knock on a door and say, hey, your loved one, I know he went to the grocery store to go pick up whatever, he's not coming back. And then watching that reaction on that family member to know, and there's times where we'll get notified at like 4 a.m. Hey, could you go make this notification? And I'm like, man, I'm going to wait till, do I wait till 7 or 8?
Yeah.
Give this family the last good night of sleep they'll ever get? Mm-hmm. Or do I go now because it's obviously very important, something I always battle with? So I can understand him just like, hey, let me rip the Band-Aid off because I want to give him this information as soon as possible so we can start assessing it as soon as possible. But you get told this news and it's almost like, I speak in metaphors, he's giving you boulders, right? Hey, hold this real quick. While you're holding that, hold this one. And you're like, why am I holding these boulders? Like, what is going on? He's giving you this heavy news. You say the first thing you looked at was your wife's belly, pregnant with your future, right? This is an exciting moment before you get this news. You're starting the gym. Your wife's pregnant. And then you get handed this news. Like, what is the first thing that's going through your mind?
That was my villain. So, I always told people, if you can't survive X, no matter what that may be, if you feel like right now, if the floodwaters start to rise and you can't outrun, water, you can't climb a tree, you can't, overcome a heart attack, or if you are going to have a heart attack, like if you can't survive these things, like then you're doing something wrong. So it's, I talked about, people ask me like, how did you do this? How did you get through, 4 brain tumors? And it's, preparation and the will to survive. And it's like, if you're not prepared for, whatever villain life is going to throw at you next, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, if you want to continue this path of your life of, being a business owner, being a father, being, so many things to different people, and you're not, focused on being able to overcome those things, then like the will to survive is just not there. And I get people that reach out to me all the time. Like, hey, I just got diagnosed with X. Like, can you help me? And it's one of those things where, I'm telling these people like, okay, you should have been working out 15 years ago. Like you should have, been eating healthier 20 years ago. What is it? When's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the second best time? Today.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I get all these people that, can you save me? I'm like, I can make suggestions, but you're not ready for, like it's such, you and Eddie talked about like the mindset of like getting up every single day, the crack of dawn and it's fucking freezing out. Like, how do you do this? Well, that's, aiding in your will to survive. Like you are grinding through that, to put yourself in a position of preparedness to be able to survive, and it's multiple things. You as a cop know that. Like, I got to be, at a drop of a hat, you got to be ready. So it's like, if you're not out there, doing jujitsu, target practice, all these things, like, your life can end in a second.
No, that's a very good point. So having that resilience embedded in you already, that was something you had.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned your wife was like, hey, this is what you've trained for.
Mm-hmm. And
that's what brought you back.
Yeah.
And kudos to your wife, man. It takes a strong woman to.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure she's not sitting there like, wow, we got this. She's probably thinking the worst of the worst. How could you not? But she was able to kind of stay grounded for you, because that for you right now, this is a slippery slope.
Yeah.
So it's very important to have a strong woman by your side.
Yeah.
No, that's that resilience, man. To build that. Start building. If you haven't.
Today.
Now.
Like, go.
Stop the podcast.
Do fucking 10 push-ups right fucking now.
I mean that. Stop the podcast. Wherever you're at, go for a quick run. Do something. Because that decision is going to lead to multiple decisions that change your life if you have not been doing this already.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
It's it's all about that, and I try to harp on that, and I try and help people out any way I can, because that's what I love to do. It's in my heart to help people, and I feel like when you get, people think that, just because I, made it through, so much, that they're going to be able to. And I like giving people hope, but it's, if you're not prepared, I always tell people, if you fight for your body will fight for you. Okay. So if you're eating like shit, if you're drinking 4 nights a week, if, you're obese, if you're, all these things, like, your body's not going to fight for you. But it's when, you put good shit in, you get good shit out. And you have to be able to focus on, fighting for your body, because it's like 50% of people get cancer now. There's so much shit out there that we're putting into our bodies, and, there's a 50% chance you're going to come down with something. So it's like, if you're not prepared for it, if you're not fighting for your body's not going to be able to do anything. But it was me fighting for my body for years. And then I end up having a 14-hour surgery, 3 surgeons. And that was, kind of the beginning of it all, was waking up from that surgery. And I had surgeries before where, you like close your eyes and you open them back up and surgery's done. Like, I knew I was out. Like, I knew I was out for a really long time when I came to in the post-op room.
What was that experience like?
Hell.
Right? You wake up.
Absolute hell.
You made it, quote unquote.
So when you wake up, their major concern is any bleeding on the brain. So the second, you kind of start coming to, the head doesn't have a lot of nerves. So you feel pressure, like, something's wrong, but it's not a lot of pain. So they immediately take you to get a post-op MRI. So they're taking you down, they're wheeling you down, you're still in and out of the consciousness. I got tubes coming out of my head everywhere. And and then they shove your head into the MRI machine. You know, and it's just,
it's not scary enough.
I'm telling you, it's, you know, I've been to hell and back so many times I could draw you directions.
Can't even imagine.
And that's what people say, you know, like, I can't imagine, like, you can't, like, I don't want you to. I don't want you to understand, like, what I went through 4 fucking times, you know? And, you know, you come out, they get you into your room, you know, you're pumped full of, they try and keep your blood pressure really low. So they pump you full of, you know, Oxycontin, you know, everything that's fucking terrible for you. It shuts your whole system down. So I had double vision as well. So they bumped my optic nerve when they were trying to remove some of the tumor. They couldn't get it all, so they bumped it. Nerves are like fuzzy caterpillars, right? You bump a nerve, it, you know, kind of curls up and doesn't want to work, doesn't want to do anything, doesn't want to move. So I woke up and had double vision, you know, couldn't, you know, I had to close my eye to see straight. I was in the hospital for about maybe 4 or 5 days. I think it was about 4 days. And then they said, like, you know, you're doing great. We're just going to send you home to recover. So I had a, you know, tube coming out of my head to drain any of the fluid that came out. And I don't even know how many, I mean, I got a scar from, you know, looks like a big question mark. I don't even know how many stitches were. Yeah,
true villain right there, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's the plastic surgeon was like, "Don't worry, your hair will grow back over it." I was like, "Nah, fuck that. You know, I'm gonna keep that fade high. Like, let everybody see it." So, you know, the recovery for that one was probably the worst. That one took the longest. The double vision, you know, I had it for about 3 months and kept going back to the eye doctor, and I was like, you know, this isn't getting any better. So. Crazy thing, my mom's talking to somebody at a Rotary meeting, right? And she was an eye doctor, and she was like, have him play Tetris. And my mom was like, what? She was like, yeah, it's the smooth eye movements. Like, the eyes will start to sync up. So I had my buddy, got an old Wii, downloaded, you know, Tetris on it. I played that shit till my thumbs bled. I sat on like a chair right in front of the TV, and I just played Tetris for 3 days straight.
Recovery.
And my eyes started syncing up, and it was like I could see about 90% better with my head kind of cocked to the side. Like, they would line up here, you know, but if I turned my head straight, it would overlap a little bit. So 3 days, my eyesight got 90% better, and that was when, like, I started to be like, okay, like, this is the comeback.
Now we're cooking with oil.
Now we're cooking, right? And it was, you know, I go back to the eye doctor, the same guy that was like, yeah, we think your brain tumor's here. I was like, hey, man, Tetris fixed my eyes. He was like, oh, it's great. So anyway, we're going to, you know, I'm like, you don't want to tell anybody about this? Like, you don't think you should be like, well, hey, all my patients.
No science.
Yeah,
there's
right?
no science yet.
Yeah. And that was when, you know, I probably lost 60 or 70 pounds. I was thin as a rail. I mean, you know, I think this is the crazy thing is I was trying to get over 200 pounds. Like, I'm, you know, lean guy. And I got up to 216. And then when they found the brain tumor, they were like, hey, we need you down around like 170, 180. And I was like, motherfucker, you know how much peanut butter I had to eat to get that fucking big? You know? And that was where they kind of, you know, putting clothes on again. I was just a rail, you know? But what I did was, you know, they were like, okay, you can walk. You know, that was like where they started me. You know, 3 months in, it started to get nice out there. Like, you can walk. So I would do passes in front of my house, right out on the street, by any means necessary. Like, I'm moving. Started walking back and forth. And then they were like, okay, you can lift 5 pounds, you know? So I put on a 20-pound weighted vest, started walking hills.
There's 5 in there.
Yeah. So you know,
this is why doctors hate patients.
Yeah, AMA, completely against medical advice. Like, I started moving, and you know, a rolling stone gathers no moss. Like, as long as you keep moving, like, your body functions start working better. You start healing faster. It's, you know, when they got you all doped up on Oxycontin and you're laying in bed and you don't want to do anything and you're feeling sorry for yourself, like, that's when you're not going to heal. And I was like, fuck this. Like, I'm going. And, you know, I was walking miles a day, multiple times a day. Started getting back to the gym. I was able to coach. I couldn't talk loud because I couldn't eat for 3 months. I forgot about that. So when they cut through the side of your head, if you mess that muscle up, they can't reattach it. So he was like, you can't sneeze, you can't, you know, eat solid foods. I'm like, how the fuck do you not sneeze? He was like, I don't know, don't do it. You know, and I was like,
Copy.
Shit. Okay. So, you know, I didn't eat for 3 months, and that's why, you know, I was on like a liquid diet, protein shakes, and lost all that weight. Got back up, built myself back up, you know, just clawed my way back for, I think it was 18 months. And then I went in for a checkup, and they were like, hey, sorry, it's back. You know, and that was, you know, that's a blow, right? Like, that's one of those things where, you know, you're doing so much, like for the specific reason to beat this, and it ended up coming back in my eye. So that was when I had my first radiation. They were like, we're gonna have to do radiation, and I mean, right hand of God. I told the surgeons, just cut my eye out. I was like, just cut the eye out, go get everything. I got another one. I'm going to get a sweet ass glass eye, probably with a smiley face or something. Like, I just want it to be fucking done.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah. I mean, you're just trying to get back to the recovery.
Here's the thing, man, is it was never the surgeries. It was always fucking starting over. Like, when you get built back up and then they're like, sorry, we got to crack your dome open again. You're down for another 6 to 8 months. And it was just like that was the soul sucking part for me, was you have to start over again, you know?
Obviously, you went through multiple craniotomies, 57 rounds of radiation.
Yeah.
Huge physical toll on your body.
Turn these lights out, I glow in the dark. It's like Chernobyl over here.
I don't even know what this is.
Yeah.
Did you ever reach a point of, I just can't do this anymore?
Yeah. A lot of times.
How was that, and how were you able to get over that? Or have you got, I guess the question is, have you gotten over that? Because that's like an ongoing battle.
It is, like I said, it's a life sentence. And, you know, every guy, I feel like a lot of guys have been there. Like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore, you know? And you get thoughts in your head, and you're like, I just want to be fucking done. I don't want to do this anymore. You know, had the gun in my hand, you know, and that's, you know, I'm sure a ton of guys have, but nobody really ever talks about it. Like, it was, you know, being beaten down so many fucking times, and having to start over. It just, it gets to you. Like the radiation, man, like, you can smell your flesh burning. You can smell the brain burning inside. And it's a smell I'll never fucking forget. To be put into this machine, and, you know, they pin your head down, and you have to be there every single day at the same exact time. So they do this. So your first week, you know, it took about 6 weeks to get through a cycle where they would do, you know, your first week, you start to feel it on day 5. And then the second week, you start to feel it on day 4. And it's like compounding. And you just get weaker and weaker. And it's like you get the radiation sickness. And it was, you know, by the 3rd or 4th week, like, you're just fucked. Like, you can't think, you're just like a walking corpse going through this. And every single day, you know, there was one time, I'm coming across the West End Bridge is how I would get there, you know, from the South Hills, and I'm coming across and I start feeling nauseous, and I'm like, fuck, you know, like, am I going to make it? So I going across the West End Bridge, and I'm like, fuck, I'm going to puke. I'm like, there's a lot at the end, you know, Steelers lot. I'm just going to pull in there and throw up. So I get to the end of the bridge and the light turns red. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So I'm like, fuck it. Open my door, start blowing chunks just everywhere. Just, so sick from this radiation. Pull into the parking lot and start puking more, And I look up and there's a cop sitting there, I'm like, oh, he's gonna think I'm fucking wasted, and he's like, hey man, he's like, you all right? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm on my way to radiation. Like, I just couldn't make it across the bridge. And he was like, all right, buddy. He was like, you need a ride or anything? I was like, no. He was like, take this bottle of water, let me know. I'm going to sit here until you leave, So it was, that, but I mean, that's what you go through. And that was every fucking day. You're just sick and it weighs on you. It chips away at everything, all your happiness, all your, people have asked me like, don't you just, you feel so blessed and so lucky. I'm like, yeah, man, but it's fucking hard. It's the negatives are so many, financially, like it cripples you. Like
financially, physically, mentally,
it's everything. And it was, you get to a point where you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, but I had a friend tell me like, suicide is permanent. What is it? What does he say?
Permanent solution
to a temporary problem, And that was when I kind of like snapped out of it. I'm like, okay, like, I can do this. And you get to the point where, I had so many fucking surgeries, so many, radiation treatments that it's like, I became like Rocky in, when he's fighting Drago. He's like, you're not so bad. He's just getting fucking pummeled left and right. And he's like, you're not so bad. You're not. And like, you get pissed. And like, that's when, you're like, I'm not letting this thing fucking get me. Like, I don't care what it is. Like you're not going to take me. I'm not going to fucking bow down to this. I'm going to go out on my own fucking terms. Like, there's nothing you're going to be able to do. I'm going to fight as hard as I can. And like, that's when like the switch kind of flips where it's, for me, it was where I was like, no, like, I'm not doing this.
You made the decision.
Yeah. And, it was, I did the craniotomy, then the radiation, then it came back on the brain side. I had to have another brain surgery. Then it came back, grew under my skull. So they had to go transnasally through both nostrils. And then I had to have another 30 radiation treatments after that. So it was what, 2016 to, I think, was a span of like 7-8 years. Just every 18 months, every 18 to 2 years.
You fought Drago every 18 months.
Every fucking, yeah. It was just another one. And like, it's all over my Instagram too. Like, like I'm not an MMA fighter. Like I didn't go looking for this fight, but I trained like I did, like I was ready to go every single fucking time. And it was after my last one, they released me from the hospital, from the neuro ICU. Like, they don't do that. Like, the nurse was like, this is the first time I've ever like released somebody from the neuro ICU. You usually go neuro ICU, step down, then leave. And she was like, we can't, this was a day after surgery that they went through my nose. They were like, there's nothing we can do for you here. Just go home and, get comfortable. So I went home. I was staying with my mom. She was taking care of me, and I forced her to take me to the gym. I had surgery on Tuesday. I was like, we're going to the gym on Thursday. And she was like,
sure, she loved that.
She was like, no, like, you didn't get cleared. I'm like, I don't care. I'm just going to walk. It was, middle of January, 11 degrees outside.
We have walking at home. We can walk at home.
So I made her take me to the gym, and I walked 2 miles inside the gym on the perimeter of the gym, just walked, and it was just like, I don't give, like, you're not going to get me,
And I can only imagine people watching you.
There was blood and like, chips of skull coming out of my fucking nose. And there was like this new guy. He was just like looking at me, and my business partner was like, yeah, he's a little crazy. Like, he just had brain surgery. That's
inspiration. That's inspiration. Not to take away from you, but like, the people going to your gym who you want to pour
There's
into,
no excuses.
they see that.
None.
I'm tired this morning.
Nope.
So what?
So what? And I've had multiple people tell me like, hey, I fractured my wrist playing flag football. I'm going to take like a couple months off. I'm like, no, you're not. You're going to do fucking legs. Like, you're going to do legs. You're going to do core. You'll do your right side of your body. Like, there's no quitting it. Like, there's not an excuse you can use on me. Like, you cannot.
You can use an excuse on yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell me.
Yeah. Don't argue for limitations around me. Cause
that's wild. Fuck. I'm not going to your gym for a little bit.
Yeah. I got a sign up on the wall. It says, I'm the Floyd Mayweather of fucking brain tumors. You know?
Undefeated. Man.
Yeah. 4-0, baby.
No, and dude, that is a testament in and of itself. The fact that you just made the decision not to quit when you have every right to lay down your sword and go, this is it.
I don't think anybody would have blamed me.
Nobody. And
it's not easy. And then, you know, being a business owner, being a dad of 3, it's a lot. But
that alone is a lot.
Yeah. And then sprinkle 4 brain tumors on top of that. And it's
57 rounds of radiation.
It was a lot. And, you know, like, I'm man enough to say that, like, I know it got to me. Like, I wanted to end it. Like, I didn't want to fucking do it anymore. And it's a lot, but, you know, I always say that, you know, when I talk about my dad, I'm like, you know, my dad was, right? So my dad was fucking amazing. Like, he was just this massive man, you know, he was the funniest guy in the room. He was, you know, but I have to say was, and I don't want my kids to have to say that. I want them to say my dad is, you know? So it's all about, you know, fighting through this and, you know, being the best dad you can through all of it, and being there is instead of there was. So,
man, I feel bad for your kids. They have zero excuses. I don't want to do homework. I'm tired.
Yeah, my kids they're monsters. My daughter, she's my hero. She's a freshman at West Liberty College. She wrestles there. She was a part of a.
How old are you? Hold on. How old are you?
I'm 45. Yeah. I have a 19-year-old daughter. 19-year-old, yeah, daughter.
Kudos, man.
Yeah.
She wrestles.
She was a part of the 3-time state championship wrestling team in high school, and then, you know, went on to wrestle in college. And
well, I pity whoever stands across the mat. Wish it Godspeed.
Yeah,
Godspeed. Surviving this, I'm sure it has to create some sort of anxiety, some sort of hesitation. Do you plan your life in increments, wondering, you know, I have X amount of time until it gets back, it comes back. In that amount of time, I'm going to X, Y, Z, or are you just raw dogging it
off the rip? You know, you just go. I can't. You know, as much as I say I can't worry about it, I do. You know, it's wild. Like, I got like a little twinge in my neck, you know, like probably a muscle, but like, to me, it's like, oh, fuck, you know, is it coming back? And it's always in your head. It's always in the back of your mind. And, you know, I have so many things on the burners right now, other than the gym. And it's, you know, you do have a sense of urgency, but like, I know, you know, it's God's timing. No matter what I do, you know, he's going to put me in the best spot to, you know,
get through
make through, you know, to bring all these things, you know, to fruition.
Yeah.
So
it's like, it's the wilderness, right? Like, a lot of us view the wilderness as we're lost. The cards are stacked against us. Why is my life like this? It takes a special kind of person to view it as, this is my prep time. This is where all the noise is stripped. This is where it's just me, my thoughts, and if you have a faith, it's you and your faith. You know, the wilderness is very important in the preparation for what you're going to do, right? Like, what story would you have? And I'm sure you would still have, given your resilience, I'm sure you would still have the drive, motivation, but going what you've gone through, doing what you're doing currently, how else would you have been prepared to deal with this if you didn't go through that?
Yeah.
And
you can't write my life. You cannot. I mean, Martin Scorsese, you know, Stephen King. Like, if these guys all sat down in a room together, like they're not going to come up with a story.
you need a
And
book.
I have been working on it. It's one of those things. You know, you're always working on your book, but it's a fucking story, man, and it's going to be the greatest comeback fucking story ever. And you know, I'm living it.
It's like, you don't have dreams, you have memories.
Yeah.
And like, what better way to paint that, right? Like, you can sit here and dream about owning a gym. I can't, though, because of all the things I've gone through.
Mm.
Or you can fucking do it.
Yeah, go now. I always say, you know, that's, you know, CrossFit, like big thing, like you count down before the workout, right? It start a clock, 10 seconds, counts down. You know, we all say, like coaches, I'll say 3, 2, 1, go, you know? Anytime I have like hesitations in life, I just say to myself, 3, 2, 1, go. That's it. Like if you're like, fuck, I don't want 3, 2, 1, go. Do it.
We're doing it live.
Yeah.
We're doing it live.
Yeah. It's, you have to, you know, move on things. And it's, you know, here's the crazy thing about the Relentless project, okay? This is what's fucking wild, is when Eddie told me the name of it. I've always been absolutely enamored with the ocean, okay? So waves, like, I mean, we're talking like my parents had to drag me out of the water when I was a kid. I would disappear, you know, I'd walk down the beach 7 miles and look for stuff. And I was so ingrained. I don't know whether I was like a surfer in a past life or what the hell it is. Like I got these in my bedroom. I have a picture of 3 waves. One is the wave at Nazaré, Portugal. It's like a 100-foot wave. There's a documentary on HBO about it. It's phenomenal. It's about these guys, you know, just riding these 100-foot waves, getting absolutely demolished.
I actually just watched a video of a dude getting taken out.
Yeah.
And it was hard to rescue him. They take like 5 minutes, which is a long time.
Yeah. When you're getting pummeled.
Then he goes
you know?
back.
Yeah.
He
Just
goes
like
back
that.
and does it. I'm
Yeah.
like, I just want to take a second to shout out a few companies who believed in me. You know, these were one of our first official sponsors, so huge shout out. Today's episode is proudly sponsored by Carbo Jewelers, established in 1997 on the values of honesty and integrity. Whether you're searching for the perfect piece, need expert repair services, visit Carbo Jewelers in Newark's Ironbound District, where your jewelry is always in safe hands. This episode is also brought to you by Continental Jewelers, proudly serving Hudson County, New Jersey since 1964. Whether you're seeking a timeless piece or need expert repairs, they've got you covered. Visit Continental Jewelers, your trusted source for all things jewelry. You can find them on Instagram at Carbo Jewelers or online at carbojewelers.com. Lastly, big shout out to Carbo Trading. Besides coins, precious metals, and jewelry, if it could be traded and collected, he's probably got it. They can be found on Instagram at carbo.trading. You can find all of our sponsors out online on our sponsor page at therelentlessproject.com.
So I got a picture of the wave at Nazaré, and then a place called Chiopu in French Polynesia. Chiopu stands, I think the French Polynesian translation is a place of broken skulls. So it's a very shallow reef, and it's a wave that comes up out of the deep. And when these French Polynesian, you know, like the Maui, I don't know if they're the Maui guys, whatever, you know, that
Them guys.
They do that. They used to, you know, pray to this god that if somebody was coming to attack them, that, you know, their skulls would be bashed, you know, the waves would pick up and their skulls would be bashed on the reef. And that's why it's Chiopu, a place of broken skulls. I wanted to get it tattooed, you know, on my scar, but my mom would have fucking killed me if I got a
My mom hates
neck
my
tattoo.
tattoos.
Yeah.
I'm covered, and then I'll get a new one, and she'll look, why?
Yeah.
Why? And I'm like, it's too late.
We're good.
I'm covered.
Yeah,
Like,
just
one
give it
more.
up.
Yeah.
You know. But waves, man. And I was out in the Outer Banks, and this was probably like 2016, 17, 18, somewhere around there. And there's a Category 1 hurricane, right? And I'm like out in it. Like I'm like, I gotta see these fucking waves. So I'm standing on the beach by myself, getting pelted by sand. I got like my hoodie pulled over, and you know, I'm watching these waves roll in, and it occurred to me that like They're absolutely relentless. And these, I'm just watching them just chew up this beach, just continuing to take sand and sand and sand. And I was giving this like corporate speech, and it kind of like dawned on me while I'm like giving this speech that, you know, the reason that I'm so drawn to the ocean is it never fucking stops. Like, it can be high tide, it can be low tide, but it's never going to stop. So, you know, a lot of it's like anything you're trying to accomplish in life. Like, there's going to be days, you know, when you're booking the biggest fucking acts you've ever had on your podcast, and you got these people coming in and everything, you know, you're getting millions of likes. And then there's going to be days where, like, you know, you don't have 350 views, and that's your low tide. But it's like, hey, high tide's coming again. And it was that kind of relentless nature of, and I even like have on the picture on my Instagram, it says relentless, just period. That's it.
And I named it.
Yeah.
Man. I knew you were going to be sitting right here.
It's the, you know, the relentless nature of these waves that, you know, it keeps me going. That, like, yeah, I know, like, hey, I had a shitty month at the gym. Like, you know, people quit, didn't get a lot of new people in, you know, it's low tide, like high tide's coming. And sure as shit, it always turns around. And that's something that, you know, you got to have faith in, that, you know, everything that you're going for is, I mean, as long as you're still making, you know, forward progress, and you're taking a step here and there, you're still going forward. You're still moving forward. You're still going towards your dream. And it's like, why would you ever, you know, stop that?
Yeah, and then that's why the path to success is relentless.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever success means to you, because it's ingrained in everything. Look at every quote unquote successful person. Look at every person who's ever amounted to doing something bigger than themselves. Everyone's journey is the same regarding relentlessness. Yeah. It's like water. You mentioned water. Wise man once said, be like water, my friend, formless. But if you look at water, like, how was the Grand Canyon formed? They say it's running water.
Yeah.
Just chiseled out.
Yep.
The rocks. Water can cut through rock. Water can cut through anything, because as long as it's relentless. If you just put still water there, maybe in a billion years it's going to do something. But if you put running water through anything, it's going to chew right through what it's going through. I remember watching this video, and I'm corny. I love the corny stuff. I remember watching this video, a bunch of kids on a beach, like digging out a channel. And you see like water start to get into it. And then it cuts to the end, and it's a raging river.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's where I know exactly what you're talking about.
And like these kids didn't realize what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, let's move the water. But the water found a path, made the path its, and then the rest is you know, because it just continues to move. It continues to move, and that's how we have to be in life.
That's how trickle becomes a river. You know,
that's exactly it. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to be the expert in your field. You don't have to be the strongest, the fastest, the best runner. You have to keep showing up. I always say this, and forms of fighting, because we have a lot of MMA fighters here. The hardest person I've ever fought was a street fight, not even a sanctioned fight, a street fight where the kid just kept getting up. So I remember telling I was putting the bricks to this dude. I remember telling myself, like, I'm going to have to fucking kill this dude to stop. Like, this is no longer fun.
Yeah.
He's just not stopping. I remember that was, I feel fear and I ignore it. That moment, I'm like,
oh shit,
I got to respect this fear. Dude, and I end up trying to stop, and dude just keeps coming and coming and coming and coming. But that is the theme. Relentless.
Yeah.
At any moment, you can choose to bow out. At any moment, you can choose to quit or remain comfortable or remain safe. But if you want to amount to something bigger than yourself, you have to keep taking those steps.
Yeah. And it's everything that people say is, you know, the Andy Frisellas, the, you know, Alex Hermosis, the David Goggins.
The Ish Lopez's.
Yeah, the Ish Lopez's. You know, everything that they say is true. Like, if you're going to start a business, it's going to be the hardest fucking thing you've ever done in your life. You know, you're going to work 7 days a week. You know, you're not going to make any fucking money. People are going to tell you to quit. You're going to lose relationships. You're going to lose friends. You're going to lose, you know, your family members are going to tell you you're fucking crazy. And, you know, that's years of going through that in that kind of low tide where, you know, that's when people give up, is like, you know, you have this vision and then all of a sudden, you know, it's too hard. It's, you know, it's not what you expected. You know, I'm here to tell you that, like, if you're starting a business, like, it's going to be the hardest fucking thing you've ever done in your life. You know, I've been open for 10 years. It feels like 70, you know, in business owner years. Like, it's 7
like
years for every,
years,
yeah. And it's the hardest fucking, every single day. It's something else. You know, it's always something, that something's always going to, you know, like I said, there'll always be another villain. And there's always going to be something, but it's just like, you have to keep going.
But why? Why? What makes you keep going? Right? Like, why be relentless? Why go through the dog years? Why put yourself through the hard times? What do you get? What are you getting?
You know, I've had a lot of people ask me that. You know, my mom asked me that, you know, why are you doing this? Like, why do you, you know, why are you still going on this, you know, fitness thing? Like, you could add a stable job. Like, it's like, people cannot see your vision. Like, it doesn't matter how much you explain it to them, it's yours. You know, you have a vision for the, you know, the Relentless project. And, you know, I have a vision for my gym. I have a vision for the other things that I have lined up. And no one else can see them. You know, there'll be a few people in your life where, like, they immediately, you know, like, click with you, you know, that, like, vibe where they get what you're saying, you know, you get what they're saying. But other than that, it's just naysayers all around you, you know? And that's a part of it, though, is, you know, the people that don't make it, or the people that hear that in their ears and are like, oh, fuck, you're right. Like, I should be done. Like, why am I doing this? You know? So it's, you know, the saying, like, you know, people who jump into the void, like, shouldn't take comments from people standing on the side. Like, if you're going to do this, if you're going to go all in, if you're going to spend, you know, thousands of dollars on all this equipment, like, you're not going to fucking stop. You
better
know,
be in the void.
Yeah. Like, I'd much rather be in the void, you know?
Well, I always say, like, Amazon wasn't built on accident. Google, Apple, Tesla. Look at all these organizations that everyone uses, despite how we feel about them. They're successful.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't by mistake. These people didn't sit on the couch and then, boom, $1 billion business.
Yeah.
Or think of innovations in medicine. Think of innovations in science. Think of everything that impacts us in life, truly impacts us. It wasn't started by someone saying, well, it's hard, I can't do it. A lot of failures, a lot of sweat, a lot of blood, a lot of learning, a lot of lessons. You have to intentionally mess up, learn, and grow.
Yeah.
It's not by mistake.
Amazon was a book company.
Yeah, and Amazon started in a garage.
Yeah. I mean, they all did pretty much.
Like, look at it now.
Yeah.
Despite how you feel about it, everyone uses an Amazon service of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I hate paying for Prime, I use it.
Yeah.
Because it's necessary for what I do. I can get groceries in a day.
Yeah.
I can get equipment in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
That to be said, doesn't matter. I'm not saying you're going to build the next Amazon or that's your goal, but if you want to truly do something in life that's impactful to you, to those you love, and to the community, you have to be intentional with what you're doing. It's not by mistake that it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's not by chance. It's not by luck. All that plays a role. Faith. I'm a huge faith guy, but I always tell people, God uses what you give him. If you're not going to give him anything, how can you expect? Like, how egotistical are we as human beings to expect to be given stuff when we won't even take the first step?
Yeah. It's, you know, my relationship with God was, you know, found him at, like, rock bottom. I mean, as far down as I could go. And then I always tell people that like God whispers, like you got to listen real carefully, you know, to what God is telling you. And it's when you start, you know, not so much, you know, I don't even know if it's a belief. It's just, you know, your trust. Like you know, it's such a low point in my life. I had just lost a best friend to cancer and was like, you know, just in shambles. And, you know, God kind of came into my life, and I don't even know if I can talk about it on, you know.
But it's your story.
Yeah.
Man, what do you mean? You can't talk about who the fuck is anyone to tell you?
It's true. It's true. So I was working at the gym post, you know, what is it? Pandemic, you know, recession era, whatever, you know, was bad.
Golden years.
Yeah, right. You know, what was that? 2020, 21-ish, 22, you know, we were struggling, you know, like weren't able to pay ourselves. So I was like, I'm going to have to get another job. Like I got to put, you know, food on the table. So my best friend, he was the VP of like PA in Ohio of this company down the street from the gym. And it was a healthcare recruiting, you know? So I was like, fuck anything, you know? I went and, you know, I was like, hey, you got anything for me? He's like, yeah, I'll throw you in there, you know? So threw me in there. I started working this corporate job. So I was at the gym at 6 a.m. working out, would handle some back end shit, you know, 7 to 8-ish, run there, work there, come back, lunch, either coach or personal train people, go back to the office building till 5, then come back and coach more, then do work all night. So for about 1.5 years, I was working about, you know, 100 plus hours a week. And during that, my best friend had developed like stage 4 everything. You know, he had childhood cancer, beat it, and then it just came like roaring back a couple years ago. And, you know, he was kind of dealing with all that. And, you know, him and I would talk, you know, it was usually like his Friday driving to work or, you know, whatever he was doing, you know, he would give me a call and we would chat about, you know, how we were feeling, how everything was going. And then, you know, I got a call from my brother. He was like, hey, Greg's in the hospital. Do you know that? And I was like, no. He was like, he's up at St. Clair. Like, I'm going to go see him after work. Are you coming? And I was like, yeah, I'll be there. So we went and saw him, and, you know, he had lost like 30, 40 pounds, you know, and I was like, Greg, what the fuck is going on, man? He was like, it's bad. You know, like it's spreading everywhere. Like they just gave me a brain MRI, you know, they think it's, you know, in my brain. And so after that, the next weekend was like a Steelers game. He was a huge Steelers fan. We all went and watched the Steelers game with him. And, you know, that was kind of like, you know, he was getting towards the end. And then I got a call one day at work, and my brother told me, you know, leave work now. Like, Greg's on hospice. We don't know if he's going to make it, you know? So it was me, my other best friend, Mike, and my brother, and, you know, their wives and his brother and his mom. And, you know, we all went out to his house, and he was in a bed, you know, getting pain meds and everything, and could barely breathe. You know, that was just like that. You know, I always tell my best friends I love them, like, love you, you know? Like, if you don't tell your homies you love them, like, you know, dude, you're not doing it right.
I always say, especially on the phone.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And I'll call you back, you know, if you don't say it back.
Yeah. And, you know, that was the last thing I said to him. You know, I was like, I love you. And he, like, through his breath, he was able to say, like, I love you too, you know? And that was the last thing I ever heard from him. And he ended up passing away that night. But I was going through, you know, at this point, my business partner had left the gym. He was a firefighter. He was like, I can't do this anymore. It's, you know, it's too much. So I was running the gym and working a 50-hour-a-week corporate job. My best friend passes away, and like at that point, I was just like done. You know, I called my mom, and I was like, hey, I need to talk to you. Like, I need to, you know, she immediately came over, you know, sat down with my mom, and I was just like, I can't fucking do this anymore. You know, like, I'm so tired. I'm, you know, so depressed. I'm just in, you know, the pits, you know. And she was like, what like, what do you need? You know, she was like, do you think you're ever going to be like destitute? Do you think I'm ever going to let you like live out on the street? Like, you know, you're fine. Like, if you need to move home, move home. If you need help with the kids, I'll help with the kids. Like, nothing, like, you don't, you know, I'm going to take care of you, you know? And it was like that moment, I just like took a fucking breath and I was like, whoa, okay. You know, and that night, you know, I had been kind of juggling, you know, should I quit the corporate job? Should I close the gym? You know, what should I do? And I have this dream about my best friend, and he's laying there, and, you know, I'm standing over top of him in this fucking light. And, you know, right hand to the man, like this light comes over top of me, and my best friend, Greg, was like, quit the job, go to the gym, you know?
Typical friends.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And this hand gets placed on my head. And like, I felt it in the dream. I felt it in bed. I was like paralyzed. Like, I could feel this hand on top of my head. And it was like, at that point, I knew it was God saying like, okay, let's go, you know? And I quit the next day. I called my best friend. I was like, I can't do it. Like, I got to be done. And he was like, okay, you know, anything else I can do for you. So I ended up quitting. And it was at that point in my life where I just said, God, you're in control, go. Like, show me what to do. And I'm going to follow. And it's the more I trust in God, the more I tell people about God, you know, it's just like the craziest coincidences like happen.
Coincidences.
Like, yeah, right. Like it's just like the path is just being like, you know, as you're taking a step, these like stones are being laid out. And it's just, all I'm doing is like, you know, trusting and listening. And it's like, if I get a little fucking feeling, like I act on it. 3, 2, 1, go, you know? And I feel like it's God is just, you know, like when you're very in tuned and like you're listening to him, it's like your whole life changes, you know?
Well, your relationships change.
Yeah. Your relationship. Yeah.
Change.
Everything.
And that's the power of God. Like,
yeah.
We as humans want to essentially play God, right? This is what I want for my life. And I truly believe that we have a path, and our whole lives, we're just trying to stay on it.
Mm-hmm.
And when we veer or we try to do it our own way,
you get a brain tumor. No.
It's not that you get a brain tumor, but God goes, I know what's best for you.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
And he gives us a lesson to get us back.
100%.
Right? So we're all doing this for the first time. We're all, not to say that you're like, you know, fuck God, I'm going to do it my way. But we try to take control of things. And as soon as you relinquish that control, you put faith in the man and you put your best foot forward, right? Because like I said, God's not just going to be like, here's a wonderful life. Boom. No, we have to put our best foot forward, and we have to go through our trials and tribulations to better equip us for what's in store for us.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I take advantage of every opportunity. If it ain't for me, he's going to let me know.
Yeah.
I'm about to find out if it is for me. And I've always wondered, like, man, when I try to force something, things happen. It's hard. Things blow up. Things get out of control. And I'm always like, is this a lesson? Is this my doing? What is going on here? And I've noticed when I feel closest to God, it's when I'm listening to him, leaning into him, things start to happen, right? I don't know the future. I can't see the vision. But like you said, the perfect analogy, stones are being placed at any moment. And we do it as humans. We stop and we look over the edge and we're like, fuck, that's a scary drop.
Yeah, that's the void.
I'll hesitate, right? But you know that if you put faith and good intention, you take that step, there's going to be a stone there.
Mm-hmm.
But when you stop to look at it and put our perspective and understanding, it's scary. There's no stone there right now. That's a big drop.
Yep.
I'm going to take a step anyway. It takes faith the size of a mustard seed. Right? It's the perfect, in the Bible it talks about the disciples stepping out of the boat. And he's like, if you're him, let me walk to you. He gets out, he's on water. Anyone would believe, like, oh, let me keep walking then. What happens as soon as he stops? Boom. Falls into the storm.
Yeah.
Why? Because you lack that faith.
Yeah.
And this isn't a faith podcast, but I am a faith-bearing man, so it plays a huge role in what I do. Obviously, it plays a role in your life. All that to be said. Trust the process. How about that? We'll gear towards our secular friends. Trust the process. It's going to be, what's going to happen is going to happen. You can better prepare for it. You can prepare your mind, your body, but you can't be ready for the opportunities if you're not preparing for things, right? Like, you have a better chance at winning life if you're putting yourself in difficult positions, i.e. the gym, Jiu Jitsu, starting businesses, exploring opportunities. You're going to learn, you're going to grow. You're going to be better prepared for what life throws at you rather than sitting on your couch in the dark wondering why isn't anything happening.
Yeah. Do hard shit.
Do hard shit. Do you view your survival... your father passed away at a young age. Do you view your survival and his passing as connected? Like, you're kind of staying here to fix what took him? You ever viewed it like that? Because in hearing your story, him being the catalyst, it's like you're doing this not for you. It's benefiting you. But it's like you're trying to fix something that inevitably, unfortunately, can't be fixed. Heart attacks are always going to be here. Health is always going to be an issue for a lot of us. But you're doing a damn good job at providing this value to people who may not do it themselves. And then giving your story helps push that.
Yes. It was ultimately what led me to the decision to open it up, was to help people. And I feel like with, a person's health, you can't be a tugboat. You can only be a lighthouse. I can only show people, where I'm at, what I'm about, how I can help them. Getting people there, that's the hard part. And, especially, people that are very out of shape that need it, those are the hardest ones to get in, because they've sat in that
Comfort.
Comfort kills.
Yes, it does.
Comfort's going to kill you. And it's kind of hard. And that's what, the relentless nature of this is like, you just have to keep, showing up for people and trying for people and hope they get it. And I've had a lot of great success stories. There are kids out there in this world because of the gym that I've created. Like, they're tiny human beings, from people that met at the gym and, got married and had kids, and that's kind of wild to me, and
some bad thought just popped in my- met at the gym, made at the gym.
Yeah. But it's, the goal is to make sure that, not so much people, but people's families, like their sons, their daughters, wives, husbands, they don't have to kind of suffer that same, thing that I went through. And I want, like I said, like, don't be a was, be an is, and that's what you have to do. And, you're not going to do it just eating shit and sitting on the couch watching Netflix. It's hard. It's hard. It hurts. It costs a lot of money. But, you're buying time. And that's what, people don't realize is, people, I'm one of the most expensive gyms in the city, like, admittedly, and, I always tell people, like, you're either going to pay for it now or you're going to pay for it later. Like, if you don't get your health in order, it's going to come back to haunt you. I was in the best shape of my life at 35 and got diagnosed with my first brain tumor, first of 4. So, like, what do you think you at, 50 plus years old and in shitty health and not eating, what do you think is going to happen to you? And it's, I know my dad didn't get to walk any of my sisters down the aisle. My mom did. My mom walked them down the aisle. So it's like, would you give, early mornings, cold mornings, no fried food, all these things. Are you going to give all that to be able to walk your daughters down the aisle? Or are you just going to, say, fuck it. And, I'm going to eat like shit. I'm not going to work out, and that's, that's the reality of life is if you're not doing these things, like your body's not going to fight for you. And it's going to get real shitty real quick.
We get to choose our heart in life.
Mm-hmm.
We get to choose to stay on the couch. We get to choose to eat what we want. We get to choose to take in all the brain rot from social media. Because working out is hard. Eating healthy is hard. Getting up early is hard. Going to the gym after a stressful work day, stressful family day, hard. You know what else is hard? The medical bills, the cardiovascular disease, not being able to pick up your kids or walk your kids up the stairs. That is hard too. Life is hard. It is what it is. No one gets an easy life. I don't care how well you have it made. I don't care how well you came into this life. No one is handed an quote unquote easy life. We all experience hard. And there's this disease, I'll call it a disease going around. And I hear it all the time. I see it on social media. I can't do this because my life is hard. Welcome to the fucking project that we're all in.
I started this club.
Life is hard for everyone. There's different levels to it. Don't get me wrong. There's different opportunities and different blessings that people get. At the end of the day, everyone's life is hard. And I don't say this to be numb to it. I say this with love. So what? This is hard. This is hard. My life's hard. Okay, we got that out of the way. Now what? Mm-hmm. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit down and let it overtake your life, or are you going to do something about it? That's the only two options you have. Sit back and do nothing and complain, which has never solved the issue of hard, or take your sword and go into battle and do what you got to do to change that, to get better equipped to deal with hard, so that when the next hard comes, you're better equipped. It doesn't get easier. You're just better equipped at dealing with hard, right? I don't know why I just went on that rant. Let's talk about the business, because I think this is a huge part of who you are now. I'm a big marketing guy, branding, love it. It's what I went to school for. Why Ultimet Fitness? Why the name? Why the colors? Why the culture?
It all has a story. Life is all about the story. We started as MET Performance Lab. So the MET stood for Metamorphosis. Yeah.
Was that the butterfly?
The skull butterfly. So I had originally sketched, I was kind of the visionary. Goose was the technical guy, the computer guy. He was in IT and, knew how to do all that. But I had drawn, if you ever seen these blue iridescent butterflies, their wings kind of glow. I drew one. So I drew one with a skull in the middle of it, and I was like, and this is going to be our logo, and this color, we called that Goose Blue. Like, he loved that blue color for some reason. So that was why we incorporated the Goose Blue into the logo. And, for everything, we wanted it to be about change. Like, it doesn't matter where you're at in life. Like, you can come in here and, change for the better. Metamorphosis, let me see if I remember the definition. It's a change in an organism through a process of growth and growth in something else.
We'll throw resilience in there.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Something like that. But, it was all about giving people the opportunity to change.
Now I want to Google it.
Yeah, I know. It's a good definition.
I want to Google it.
Had it on the back of one of our shirts. But it was all about the change, being able to change and realizing that, if you're this, lonely little caterpillar, you can grow into this, majestic butterfly. So
let's see what a profound change in form, structure, or substance, commonly referring to the dramatic biological transformation in animals, like caterpillars to butterflies, involving distinct life changes, but also applies metaphorically to significant personnel, character, or situational shifts.
There you go.
Well, damn.
Yeah.
That's it.
that was, what we based the gym off of was let's have a good time and let's change people's lives.
And like the beauty of especially a gym is you can come in a seasoned pro or you can come in first day off the couch. You're going to grow.
Yeah.
It's going to look different for everyone. Mm-hmm. And I always tell people, man, if you've never done this before,
you're going to love this.
You're going to change the most.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Like me, I'm 15 years in the gym, solid, like intentionally.
Yeah.
And like, maybe I'll start to like chisel up a little bit, but like my body doesn't change as dramatic as someone who just goes in. I remember the first time I went into the gym, it was like 2-3 months in, start seeing my little abs and the vein pop out. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done at the gym. Like I got it. I was 140 pounds. I'm done. Now I'm 230. That's an issue on itself, but I mass. I'm trying to be a big unit, but it takes a lot of food and intentionality. But you're gonna see so much change, and not just in your physical, right? Because that's awesome. But that's just a symptom. That's a symptom of what's happening. You're gonna start you're going to the gym when you don't want to, when everyone else doesn't want to. You're intentionally putting your body through stress, lifting heavy things, doing hard movements. Your mindset starts to change too, right? That time that where you gotta do the dishes now. You're like, man, I just benched 235. I can go do the dishes. You just start making decisions that you never.
I always tell people, look better, feel better, fuck better. It's just that's what the gym's gonna do for you.
Fornicate better.
Yeah, all right.
That's true. Your cardio,
right?
Your cardio increases.
Yeah.
Do you have a no excuse zone in the gym? You need to put a sign up. Like when someone's like, man, just be like, hey, take 5, go into the no excuse zone.
No excuse zone.
You got to do that. I just popped into my head. When someone's feeling sorry for themselves, like it takes tough love. Obviously, you know your clients better than anyone or your family better than anyone.
Family.
But like when someone's feeling sorry for themselves, I can't get, okay, that's all right. Go under that sign and just wait for 5 minutes.
I have my radiation mask. I'm going to put them, go stand underneath my radiation mask and, take a time out. I
imagine it's hard for a client to complain about doing burpees or being tired when the guy coaching them has survived 57 radiations and 4 craniotomies.
It's like I said, there's no excuses there.
Do they know the depth of your story?
Some do. Some that have been around for a while.
If you don't know, now you're about to.
Here you go.
Pittsburgh's a great, a grit city, right? Blue collar, steel city. How does the community at Ultimet reflect the blue collar, steel city toughness of our community?
I mean, it's that grind every day, and it's we have construction workers, surgeons, lawyers. We have all walks of life. I have grandmas, I have grandpas. It's, but everybody is there to grind. And it's, we know winners in Pittsburgh are absolute shit. Like I tell people all the time, like if you can make it to the gym in these months,
it's 6 degrees right now.
Yeah. If you can make it now, you'll you're fine. Like you can do this.
The hardest part is getting here.
Yeah. The hardest part is literally opening the door when it's 6 degrees outside and, you've got 8 hoodies on and, you had to, what do we got? 19 inches of snow coming this weekend or something.
Oh, great. I didn't know that. Thanks for the surprise.
Get your milk, get your toilet paper. But it's that blue collar mentality. And, you find it in a lot of different people, right? So you find it, in the Eddies of the world, the construction workers, like.
You gotta stop plugging that dude.
I know,
he's gonna love
visual.
this episode.
What is it? Visual investments.
So I love the dude because he has good intentions for everyone. You have a hell of a fucking story, and you already know he's gonna be like, bro, that episode you mentioned me 3 times. It's like
it's not enough.
Not the fucking 4.
Brain tumors.
4 brain tumors, the craniotomies, his story. It's like, he'll be like, no, he's dope. I know him though.
So I mean, you have that. You have the the construction workers that know how to do hard work, and then you have in the complete different spectrum, like the lawyers that are working these crazy insane hours, did all this studying, and like they're still there at 6 a.m. working out, going to work for 10 to 12 hours, have kids. Like there's always going to be someone busier than you in my gym. Like, I don't care what it is you think you have going on. There is somebody that has more kids, has more obligations, is doing more for their life. So you can't sit here, and say like, X, Y, Z, like, this is why I can't make it. And there's always somebody doing more inside my gym than you are, so that's the grit of the city. And that's why I love it.
I love that.
But it's,
and if you take offense to that, I'm talking to you.
yeah, exactly.
Like, that should be motivation. That should be inspiration. This is where your mindset this is where you should hope your mindset to be. You see that and you're like, bet.
Yeah. So here's a great example of that. Have you ever heard about the Goggins race?
Which one?
The 4x48.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I've heard great things.
Yeah. So there were some guys chirping in him. Like, this guy was getting ready to go to, I think it was Marine Officer School. And they were talking about it, like sitting on the ground after class one day. And they're like, did you ever hear this Goggins race? Like, and I had just been diagnosed with brain tumor, 4?
You name them?
No.
Do you have names for them?
Never named
like,
them.
Fuck
No,
them.
yeah, exactly. They just get numbers. So I had been diagnosed. I knew that I was having surgery in January. So this was the last surgery that I had. Knew I was having the surgery. I mean, was down in the dumps, like fourth one fucking came back. Like, I'm not in the mood for anything. I don't want to be at the gym. I don't want to do anything. And I hear these guys talking about the Goggins race, and it's, you run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. So you run 48 miles in 48 hours. And I hear them talking about it, and they're like, yeah, let's do like half of it, And I was like, I kind of like snapped my head, and I'm like, why the fuck would you do half of anything?
It's not the Goggins race.
Right. I was like, why would you do half? Do the whole thing. And they were like, you won't do it. And I was like, the fuck I won't. I was like, I'll be one of the only people here that finishes, And they were like, okay, let's do it. And they were like, it's in March. Let's do it in March. Well, I knew I was having surgery in the middle of January. So I was like, no, we're doing it in December. I think this was like October. I was like, we're doing it in December. And they were like, it's going to be freezing. It's going to be dark. I'm like, I don't care. Do hard shit. So we got everybody to agree on a day. We started, I think it was Friday at 6 p.m. We all slept at the gym. I think there were originally 15 or so of us that started. So at 6 o'clock, we ran 4 miles. Then you come in. So if it takes you an hour, you get 3 hours of rest. And then we ran again at 10. And then you ran again at 2. Then 6 a.m., 10 a.m., so on and so forth for 48 hours. So we had this like cup system. Like, every time you came in, you stacked your cup with your name on it. So we knew who was still out, running. So we start running this thing, and people just start dropping like flies. Like, we're sleeping at the gym on the turf in the back room. Like, we're, people brought food.
Slumber party,
like, yeah, it was
man.
a slumber party. It was great, but it starts to get to you. So like, you're going out at, 10 p.m., 2 a.m. It's, freezing. It's dark out. People start dropping off left and right. So it gets down to the like nitty gritty of it, and there's 4 of us left. So, and I told people, they were like, who do you think is going to finish? And I told them exactly who was going to finish. I was like, it's going to be me. It's going to be Killian. It's going to be Aaron. It's going to be Val. These people at the gym. So the very last one, the very last run, there were only 4 of us left. We decided that we were going to run up to Mount Washington. We were going to go up McCardle, 2 miles all the way to Grandview, take a picture, and then run the 2 miles back.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, total sense.
So at this point, I'm like, Ivan Drago mad. I'm like, this fucking brain tumor thinks it has me. So I just all out sprinted up McCardle, like as fast as I could. Like the kid, the 24-year-old Marine is like trying to keep up with me. And I was like, kill me now. Like, go ahead. Like, if this is what you think you can do to me,
Look
and
what I do for fun.
Yeah, like, this is like, you cannot beat me. Like, you will never get me. Like, I will outwork you. I will out-train you. I will out-everything you. Like, you don't have any effect on me, you know? And I sprinted that motherfucking hill as fast as I could. And everyone was like, what are you doing? I didn't tell anybody at that point. Nobody knew that, you know, I was running this with a, you know, brain tumor under my skull, pressing, you know,
chip on your shoulder.
Yeah. And I took off, and it was, you know, it was just one of those things that you do in life to kind of reassure, like, this is why the fuck I do it, you know? And that was, you know, I said, like, you know, Goggins doesn't have shit on me, you know, like, I ran his race with a brain tumor. And then, you know, that was the first Saturday in December. And then I had, you know, I told everybody after that, you know, I needed it. Like, I needed that push, that, you know, that challenge to be able to, you know, say that I did it. Like, this isn't going to take me. And it was that confidence that I went into surgery and, you know, ended up, you know, winning again.
Dude, that's...
So you got to do hard things. You got to challenge yourself. And it's, I forget what were we even talking about that?
My gym session after this podcast.
Yeah. You're running through a wall.
I'm about to fuck the wall. I'm bringing it down.
Yeah.
It's shoulder day too. Oh, dude, I'm tagging you. I'm gonna tag in my shoulder workout just so you could see
sprinted.
How fuck.
I'm sprinted as fast as I could.
That's
to
wild.
See if it would kill me, you know. And I just went, you know. And then we got back, and yeah, everyone was like, "Why did you do that?" You know,
because I can.
Because I can. Yeah, because like this is what you train for.
You know, it's crazy. So, Goggins will hear the story, and he'll be like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. I called him once. So there was like, he was like talking to people, and I wanted to like talk to him and just be like, I ran your fucking race with a brain tumor, you know, like, don't give me shit. Like, you just got fat, you just ate and then ran, you know, like, I had brain tumors and ran.
He's the type of dude, you know, real recognize real.
Yeah.
He's not going to pat you on the back, but him saying this, you'll be like, I got his respect. He'll be like, fucking right, you did.
Yeah.
So what?
Right. You keep going.
You did it for you.
Yeah. I did do it for me.
Right. And it's like, dude, hearing that, you'd be like,
I mean, I'll thank him for that race, for giving me the fucking opportunity to,
dude, that's awesome.
Show myself, you know, nothing's going to get me but me.
Dude, it's like when your mom tells you, I brought you into this world, I'll take it. It's like, hey, I make the decisions around here.
Absolutely.
All right. We're going to lean into some thought-provoking questions, and then boom.
All right.
We'll end it with the fun,
shot of
fast
tequila.
ones. Hey, I think I have some in the fridge. I don't know if I could do that. I don't know. A lot of people train to look good naked. You train because you know how fragile life is. How do you teach people to value capability over vanity?
Yeah, I mean, in my sector, that, you know, there are people that are like, you know, blessed body wise. Like, you know, do they work hard at it? Absolutely. But you're not, you know, I think people think that they walk into a CrossFit style gym, a High Rocks gym, and they think it's just going to be six packs everywhere. And like, it's not.
Yeah, look
like,
at Eddie.
Yeah.
Bag of milk.
Right. Here we go. So you're getting some comments on that one. Yeah, I mean, they're everyday people. You know, it's not something where, you know, does everybody, you know, like I said, are you going to look better? Are you going to feel better? Like, absolutely. You know, these things are going to come, but it's not so much about vanity. And I feel like people, you know, like I said before, pain causes action, right? So it's that breakup. It's that, you know, you feel sorry for yourself. It's that pain that causes people to come in. And it's not like, well, I don't have a six pack. You know, that isn't the reason why, you know, people initially come in. It's like, you know, my girlfriend just, you know, cheated on me, left me. You know, they're coming in because of some pain factor. And I honestly believe that, you know, pain is a gift. Like, everything that has ever happened to me that's been bad, you know, it's always left me with something, you know, brain tumors, my dad dying, you know, all these pain issues in my life have all been gifts. And, you know, if you can recognize like what you're going through, you know, in the initial moment, like, it's a lot to deal with, things like that. But if, as you start to heal, you realize that like, this was a gift to me. Every single one of my brain tumors, God gave me, to be able to, sit on the Relentless project and try and help somebody, 10,000 miles away. They're all gifts. And I see people come into the gym because of their pain more than anything. They see themselves in the mirror. They get super depressed. You look like shit. Like I said, girlfriend breaks up with you, boyfriend breaks up with you, lost your job, all these pain, all this pain is what brings people in. And it's just so happens, like when you're trying to fix that pain, that's when you start to get better looking, and it's part of the process where, you're trying to get over this ex and, you fuck around and find out that like, oh shit, I got muscles now, and it's like, it's time to level up.
I can breathe better.
Right. Yeah. I can, and I always talk about that. And, I don't know if you've seen the outside of my gym.
Just pictures.
So
I've probably driven by it and haven't even.
Yeah.
Now I will.
It says got fat. Like question. Have you ever seen like the got milk ad? It says got fat.
Highly successful marketing campaign, actually.
Got fat, get fit is what it says. And like people lost their fucking minds when I painted that out there. And the city sued me. They tried to come after me to like take it down. And it was, again, God told me to put this up there. Like God was like, put this idea in my head. It was like, you're going to paint got fat on there. It's going to get you more attention than you've ever, dreamed of. And it did. People were taking pictures. People were posting it, whether it's good, whether it's bad. People weren't just like walking down the parking lot with their heads down. It grabbed your attention. And like, I just had a girl the other day, it was like, I was running past here and saw that. And she was like, oh yeah, I need to be a part of that, and it triggers pain in people. And that's what, people are like, don't you feel ashamed for painting that? I'm like, no, like, I'm not saying, you're a piece of shit for being fat. I'm saying if you got fat, like, that's not the end, like you can get better, you can get healthy. And like, I'm here to help people with that. And they're like, well, don't you think that like, people that are offended by that aren't going to come in? I'm like, they weren't going to do anything about it anyway. Like if you don't have the balls to step up and want to commit to something, like, you're never going to make it through this. It's going to be with you for the rest of your life because you've just settled in this and you refuse to face that pain that's going on in your life and you refuse to do something about it. I tell people all the time, like, get a six pack once in your fucking life. Like once in your life, dial the fuck in, tighten up, get that six pack and you'll chase that high for the rest of your life. Like you want to feel that. You want to look in the mirror and be like, holy shit, look what I built. And like, if you do that once in your life, it's always in the back of your head, like, this is what I can be. And you'll go for it again and again and again. And, I go through like bulking and cutting and there's nothing feels better than looking in the fucking mirror and just seeing like absolutely shredded.
That you've built.
That you built, that it was your dedication, that it was your, your hard work, your time, your effort. And like to see it it's something you have to do once in your life. And like, if you're on the fence about it, like do it. Like I promise you, it'll stick with you for the rest of your life. And you'll be like, I know what I can do. Like, I know what I'm capable of. I know what I can look like. And then it's like, those pain things are going to come in and, you might lose a job. You might not have money. You might eat like shit, gain 10, 15, 20, 30 pounds. But like, like in the back of your head, like, I remember when I looked like this, like we can do this again. And you get back on it.
You mentioned High Rocks.
Yeah.
How did you become affiliated as a High Rocks training facility and what was that decision like?
So I had a member at the gym who came from another gym and he was like, hey, I'm looking to do like open gyms and stuff. And I was like, yeah, sure, man. And he starts doing all these weird things. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's doing like sled pushes, sled pulls. And we have this like huge turf area. And he's like, oh, I'm training for High Rocks. And I'm like, what is High Rocks? He's like, it's a fitness race. You do like a 1,000-meter run, then a station, then, you do it 8 times. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, what are the stations? He's like, well, it's actually great. You have everything that I need here. You know, it's like 1,000 meter, it's a run, then you do 1,000 meters on the ski erg, then a run, then a sled push, then a run, then a sled pull, then a run, then it's like burpee broad jumps, a run, then a row, run, farmer carry, you know, run, wall balls. I might be missing one, but he was like, it's awesome, man. He was like, you got to try it. You'd be really good at it, you know? And I was like, well, you know, I'll take a look at it. So he was like, you can become an affiliate. And so I looked on their website and I, you know, started to, you know, it was like all over my Instagram algorithm, you know, about people doing this. And the reason I loved it is, you know, there's so much stigma behind CrossFit, you know, like I have to pick up a barbell. I, you know, have to do these like crazy pull-ups and, you know, none of which is true. Like you don't have to do any of that shit. Like at any gym that you go to, like if they're not, you know, extremely beginner friendly and you know, they're not going to walk you through it, like just leave, you know, like you don't have to do kipping pull-ups. You don't have to do, you know, barbell snatches. But the reason I love High Rocks is it was such a low level, like barrier entry, right? So like, can you, you know, walk 1,000 meters in this race? Absolutely. You know, can you, you know, row at a, you know, 4-minute pace, 500? Yeah, absolutely. Like you can do all these things, a very low barrier, but just like a marathon, like it gives people something to train for, right? So like everybody knows when the marathon is coming up and like that gives them, you know, you know, that's my goal. That's my finish is to do this High Rocks race. And they have them all over the world now. So they're all over the United States, they're all over the world, and you get to travel. So you go to these like dope cities and, you know, check into a hotel and there's, you know, fitness people everywhere. And, you know, you get to spend, you know, we spent, I think 25 of us went to Dallas, you know, Eddie included. And, you know, we had an absolute blast in Dallas and you get to run this race and doesn't matter if you finish in an hour, you finish in 4 hours, like you have a great time.
You finished.
It's yeah. I mean, it's a vibe, man. Like you go to these places and, you know, it's a good time.
It sounds like a good time.
And
everyone's there for the same
everyone's
goal.
there for the same shit, you know, and people tell me like, oh, isn't that boring? You do the same thing all the time. And I'm like, do you think a marathon changes the 26.2 miles? You know, it's the same race. It's the same thing. You know, you're doing the same shit.
Journey.
You're just trying to get better. You know, you're trying to get better, you know, every single time you do it. And it's kind of taken the world by storm. And it just so happens that, you know, this guy that introduced me to it, you know, I'll forever thank him, but it's taken off. And it's, you know, our gym is perfectly set up for, you know, this training, like just by chance, you know, this thing came along and God was like, go, you know,
3, 2, 1.
So I did 3, 2, 1. And I did. And it's, you know, the class, like we worked out last night and there were like 20 people in class. And I mean, it's just, you know, me and Eddie are chirping at each other the whole time. And,
Shocker,
you know,
there.
yeah, right. But I mean, it's just, it's a blast. And, you know, people are, you know, there's hate on it, but there's hate on, you know, everything. Like, oh, you don't do any reps, you know, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, go into any CrossFit gym and tell me somebody's getting below, you know, parallel on their wall balls or anything like that. So it's, you know, it's noise. Like we have a blast with it.
You're moving, you're training and you're pushing. So,
you know,
it's awesome.
Rolling Stone, man, just keep going. Like no matter what it is, you know, find your passion for a little bit. You know, if this, you know, everyone's like, oh, aren't you afraid it's going to go away? I'm like, no, like it's awesome right now, man.
Yeah.
Like let's.
And if it does,
yeah,
we'll
find something else. You know, yeah.
You're obviously building a tribe. What is the biggest change you've seen in a client's life, not just physically, but mentally, since they started training at Ultimet Fitness?
Mentally. There's been a lot of people that have, you know, I know that we're their sanctuary. You know, like I got this guy who lives in the North Hills, and he lives up by like Wexford, and he drives in, you know, all the way down on the south side. He's been one of my members for 14 years. He was a member before I owned it, member when I opened it, and has still continued to be a member this day. And he's told me like, listen, man, if it wasn't for this gym, like I wouldn't have made it through the pandemic. you know, like it's just mentally, like I was losing my mind. And he continues to come to this day. He was like, this is like my time, my space. Like, don't have my wife here, don't have my kids here. Like, I need this to, like, you know, reset every single day that I come. And it's, you know, I feel like it's that to a lot of people. It's really a therapy session.
Heart therapy.
You know, heart therapy, but it's everybody that, you know, people open up their deepest, darkest secrets, you know, like if you're training them. And there was like one week I had like 3 girls like cry, you know, just like we're just like talking during class, you know, and the one, her mom was dying, and, you know, another one, it's, you know, it unleashes something in people, you know, where like they just want to bare their soul. Like, I don't know if it's the pain leaving them or, you know, what they're going through, whether it's they feel, the metamorphosis, whether they feel comfortable, you know. Everybody started calling me Dad. So I'm like kind of known as Dad at the gym. Yeah.
Unk. You're at Unk
so
age.
It's, you know, it helps people. And, you know, there's no sort of depression that like a workout isn't going to help, you know, and it's, you know, it's physically changing the chemicals in your body, you know, every time you work out. And it's better than any SSRI you're going to take, any, you know, Zoloft, any of that shit. Working out it's the greatest antidepressant in the world. And I feel like we've, you know, helped so many people kind of turn their lives around and think that, you know, alcohol was the way to do it, pills was the way to do it. And then they get in and, you know, you see this change in their lives, you see this change in their body, and, you know, they're smiling. I think my favorite thing is when women come in baggy sweatpants, baggy hoodies, and then it's like all of a sudden, like, you see them start to like wear a little midriff and like they start to feel better. And then it's like they're in a sports bra and like booty shorts. Not that, you know, that I like to see it.
Easy.
But
people.
yeah. So, but it's just they're feeling confident and they feel great. And, you know, that's something that I love seeing. And it's, you know, you see it over, you know, the course of time. And, you know, these people feel better and better about their bodies. Or like the guy that, you know, we say tarps off, you know, like hockey, or lacrosse, whatever, you know, take the jersey off and start swinging. But that's what we call it. You know, mid-workout, you'll see a guy just like take his shirt off for the first time. And, you know, it's like, fuck yeah, brother.
Fuck yeah.
Like you're feeling it.
There.
Now let's go.
We're there.
You know, absolutely.
That's awesome.
And it feels great when, you know, people start to feel more confident in themselves. And, you know, people write you cards and, you know, thank you for everything that you've done for them. And, you know, it feels great. And that's worth more than any money I've ever made there.
That's good reason to keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into the Relentless round, I got to ask, how are you with the cancer now, if you don't mind me asking? I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, like, oh man, we've heard his journey. We're like,
yeah,
how's he doing?
Yeah. So I've been in remission, haven't had any regrowth in 4 years. So
awesome.
That was big because my last MRI, I mean, I've outlasted surgeons there. You know, there's surgeons that I started with that aren't there anymore. And I went in for my last MRI, and they go every 6 months up to 5 years post-op. So once you finish your last treatment for 5 years, you have to have them every 6 months. Now that's, like I said, every 6 months is parole, right? So you're getting, you know, a clean bill of health. You feel great. There's a scene in Breaking Bad, right? You ever watch that show?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Walter White,
great,
you know?
Great show.
So he gets
like the ending, but
yeah, he gets the clean diagnosis, you know, at one point, and he goes into the bathroom and he just fucking hammers the paper towel dispenser, and he's just like, you know, and he's like screaming at it, and like, bro, like tears were like streaming down my fucking face when I watched that, because like I know that feeling of, you know, like you get a clean scan and they're like, you know, you're good, there's no regrowth, like we'll see you in 6 months, and like that as a fucking win is just huge, you know, and it makes you feel like, you know, you're doing it, and you're going to make it, and it gives you that hope. But I've been clean for 4 years, haven't had any regrowth. And what they do is they bump it back to every year, your scan. So your scan goes once a year now, which is, I'm not getting calls every 3 months, which put me in a downward spiral of anxiety. And, my mom knows like when they come up, and she's like, just checking on you, and it's, every time you go to them, I go to one lady at the AGH Imaging Center in Bethel Park. Her name's Dottie. I fucking love her. She has been she's the only one I'll go get MRIs from, because she's so kind. I've brought her flowers. I, give her gifts, and she's like, I'm going to get in trouble. I'm like, Dottie, I don't care. Point me to your boss. I'll tell her that you're the fucking
Bring them
best.
gifts too.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And, it's that, relieving yourself of that anxiety, every 3 months that you're going to go through this. And so my next scan is in June. And I'm just kind of doing what I did for the last 4 years, staying healthy, keeping moving. I do some water fasts, every 3-4 months. I'll do a 3 to 4 day fast, just to try and keep, everything clean. But it's
changing the oil.
Yeah. It's, it's a grind, just like anything else.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'll be praying for you.
Thank you.
Obviously. Now we're going to lighten things up a little bit.
Right, finally.
Not too much, though. So this is the Relentless rapid round. Quick answers. No overthinking. Just boom, rapid fire, okay? Survival's a marathon, but this round's a sprint.
Okay.
All right? You ready?
I'm ready.
You have physical scars from the surgeries. Do you look at them in the mirror as wounds or as trophies?
Oh, those are fucking trophies. Every single one. Like I said, when my surgeon, the plastic surgeon, was like, oh, your hair will grow over it. I was like, nah, fuck that.
Leave it.
Yeah. And what's wild is I see other people out there with the same scar, and it's like an immediate connection. You're like, hey, what would you have done? And it's like, oh, I had a, blah, blah, blah tumor, and then it's like, you have this instant connection to these people.
It's a brand now.
Mm-hmm.
What is harder, a full high rock simulation race or a week of radiation treatment?
High rocks for sure. High rocks is brutal.
Fuck that.
Yeah. I think about the one we got coming up. We're all going to DC, and I'm just like, oh shit. I got to feel this again,
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, it's a great feeling.
You
should try it.
Yeah. Eddie's invited me out, so that's something I got to put on my mantle.
All right.
Something I got to conquer. There's gonna be a little deep question, but what day was harder? The day you buried your father, or the day of your first diagnosis?
Burying my father. That was by far the hardest, kind of day I've ever had, and I try and never remember the day that he died, but remember all the days that he lived. So it got to a point where, my family's very close. I got a brother and 2 sisters and my mom. And it was, in the beginning, everyone's, let's have a Memorial Day. He died on Labor Day weekend. So he was born on the 4th of July. He died on Labor Day weekend. So my man knew how to party. And
holidays aren't the same.
Yeah. So it's tough, but I try and remind myself, never remember the day that he died. Just remember the party days that I had with him, camping, hunting, Alaska, Colorado, all these, amazing experiences that I had with him. And, even though his death was, the hardest day of my life, try and remember the good.
It's a good way to keep that in perspective. You're in the 412, the Great Steel City.
That's right.
Permanis or something else? What's your go-to cheat meal?
Go-to cheat meal. Definitely not Permanis. Permanis is a drunk thing. That's a whole nother era of me. That was bartending till 4 a.m, then stumble there. A cheat meal. I don't like restaurants. I'm not a big restaurant guy just because they cook their stuff in shit oil.
Seed oils.
Seed oils.
Good for the arteries.
It's great for brain tumor
That's
growth.
sarcasm. I have to say that.
Yeah. It's, I'm not, like, I love good tequila. So, like, if I'm going to have a cheat meal, like, it's going to be, like, a good cocktail or...
I got to put you on something then. I got sent a bottle by Quinta Lisa tequila.
Quinta Lisa.
That's what me and Eddie were sipping on.
Okay.
It's like aged in old coffee barrels.
I think I might know the guy that started that.
I think he's got roots in Pittsburgh.
Mike Winters.
Yes.
I think is his name.
Yeah.
I went to high school with him.
Small world.
Yeah.
Well, he's
Quinta Lisa. No, it's all connecting.
He said he's going to be on the podcast, so
That's awesome.
can't wait to hear that.
My man. So that dude's been grinding for years, right? Like, I mean, he owned like a mobile car detailing business. Like, my man has just been.
He's a hustler.
He's a hustler.
Hey, I can
and I love
that.
to see it. And it was one of my buddies who's, one of my other better friends. He was like, "Yo, did you see Winter started a tequila brand?" And I was like, "What?"
Dude, it's fucking good. I'm a tequila guy myself.
Okay.
It's fucking.
What's your favorite tequila?
It's like asking who's your favorite child.
Yeah.
But it depends, right? If we're talking cost wise,
Cost is no object.
Cost is no object.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get hate for this. It's a cheaper one, but Quinta Lisa, I'm leaning into that. But Tequila Ocho.
Tequila Ocho. Oh,
Are
you a repo guy?
I'm a repo guy.
Okay.
I'm a repo guy.
So I'm Jose Cuervo Reserva de Familia Extra Anejo. Is
gasoline.
No.
You like gasoline?
This is fire. I mean,
this shit will start fires.
It's the best tequila I've ever. I only do Anejo.
I'll have to try. See, Añejo's a little too...
I like the oakiness. I like that.
For
it's,
me. I'm not a bourbon guy.
So my dad always said, there's sipping tequila and there's shooting tequila. And the Jose Cuervo, like gold, like that was like shooting tequila, right?
That's
he
fuel.
made this thing. We call it the coffin. So he made a box. It looks like a coffin that he laid a Jose Cuervo bottle in. It's got 6 shot glasses, a cutting board, salt shaker, and like I still carry it with me to like every party that we go to. It's called the coffin. But he was the one that was like, oh, that's sipping tequila. Like, you only sip on that. Like, this is shooting tequila. This is shit, So you just slam that back. But my dad was a huge tequila guy.
I'm gonna have to make one. I'm gonna have to get one.
I'll send you pictures of it. It's amazing.
I'll make one. That's awesome.
Anytime I show up to the party, people are like, oh, fuck.
He's got
tequila. Yeah.
No, same. Like I love sipping tequila, and then people are like, "Oh, I can't do that. That's only when I'm getting wild." I'm like, "This is like how I get started."
Yeah.
Like, what if
this is the start and the finish?
Me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez. That's something we connected over. We'll have to get some tequila together.
Definitely.
If a person wants to live to be 90, what is the one exercise they need to do every week?
Walk.
Movement.
A lot.
Walk. A lot. What is the phrase you repeat to yourself when things get hard?
Keep going. Yeah.
Finish the sentence. I refused to die because...
My kids.
You have every excuse in the world to take it easy. But you don't. To the listener who is too tired or too busy or to take care of their health today, what is the reality check they need to hear?
I mean, you can do better. Everybody can do better. You can be a better husband. You can be, better in the gym. You can be better at work. You have to strive for that better. And it's going to do nothing but propel you in the rest of your life. If you're going to be better in the gym, you're going to be a better father. Like I always see the transition of people when they start to get better in the gym, they have more confidence in the conference room. They're able to go out, they're able to, speak their minds, pitch that idea that, maybe they didn't have the balls to do, overweight, feeling like shit in their clothes. But, everything in your life gets better. When you strive for these things, when you want to better yourself in any of those categories, like your life, it's all connected, man. The gym is going to make you better at everything else. And, same as if, you're a better husband and, you treat your wife better, like that's going to make it's
going to make your life a lot better.
A lot better. So
constant growth.
Yeah.
If someone is listening and they're scared, maybe they just got a diagnosis or they lost a parent, what is the first step they need to take tomorrow to regain control of their life?
Give it to God. Like I said earlier, it's it's all happening for a reason. It's it's putting the pavers down for your life. And, you have to have, trust in the fact that this is meant for you. You may not like it all the time, but it's happening and you got to make the best of it. I didn't think, 4 brain tumors would land me on a podcast with you or, all the other crazy shit that it's led me to. But, you have to realize that it's all happening for you. And, you can be a Debbie Downer and be like, oh, poor fucking me. Or, you can go write a book about it. You can go help other people. You can, continue to get people healthy, or, whatever it is that you feel like, this is the path that it's leading you to, you follow it. Don't get down on yourself. Like, I definitely did. And, but it's one step away from going on the right path or, going down the wrong path.
It's a fork in the road.
Yeah.
You have to make a choice. Well, I appreciate you for being here.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here. Going off of that one, you've cheated death 4 times. You're building a legacy here in Pittsburgh. What does greatness mean to Adrian Van Balen?
Greatness. I mean, we're in the city of champions, so it's kind of, fitting, but greatness to me, to me, I want to be a great father. It was really hard to lose my father and to not have him around for, so many of the things, our weddings, grandkids being born, all these things. Greatness to me is living a full life. And, if we get to millions, we get to millions. If not, like, it's to, live each day with, greatness inside you and want to help people. And, I feel like when people speak your name in rooms that you don't know anything about, and, as long as it's good, sure, there's going to be some haters, but, if most people are speaking good about you, then, you're on your way to greatness.
Good answer. And the easiest question I've asked all show. Where can people find Ultimet Fitness, sign up for High Rocks training, and follow you online?
We can go to ultimetfitness.com. That's ULTIMET fitness.com. You can catch us on Instagram, ultimate_fitness. We're right down on the south side, 1213 Bingham Street. Got a huge parking lot right in front of us. If you look down East Carson Street, you'll see our big bright blue goose blue building with a skull butterfly on the garage door. So you can't miss us. That and the Got Fat.
And where can people follow you?
I'm at CSEE Fit People, PPL. So
I like how you have to differentiate I.
Yeah. I see fit people. So when I was a bartender, it was I see drunk people. And then I switched it to I see fit people.
Metamorphosis.
The metamorphosis.
The metamorphosis.
It's all happening.
Well, brother, I appreciate you for coming on the Relentless Project and sharing your story. Wasn't an easy one, but it was a good one. Man, I don't even, words can't describe your story.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate you for coming on, brother.
It's been a blast. I appreciate it.
This is the one with Adrian Van Balen, and we are out. Later.
Take care.
And that was Adrian Van Balen. If you're listening to this and you're currently healthy, do not take it for granted. Adrian had to fight for his life 4 separate times just to have the privilege of sweating in a gym. His story is a reminder that we don't train because we have to. We train because we can. We eat right not to be boring, but to be here for our families. He turned the pain of losing his father and his own medical trauma into a sanctuary for others in Pittsburgh. So if you're here in the 412, go check out Ultimet Fitness in the South Side. Shake his hand and get to work. Share this episode with one friend who would be inspired by this conversation. Follow the Relentless Project on Instagram, X, and YouTube at Relentless PRJCT. Drop a comment, subscribe, show some love so that we can keep bringing you guests who share their story. And as always, we don't settle, we don't quit, and we don't wait for permission. I'm Ish Lopez. This is the Relentless Project, and I will see you on the next one. Later.